On this episode of the DTVC podcast, Chris the Brain Kacvinsky from Bulletproof Action is back, and we are going to be looking at Diablo, kind of one that a lot of us are looking at as one of the better, maybe one of the best action movies to come out in recent memory. So, really fun conversation there, talking about Scott Adkins, Marco Zaror, the whole nine yards. So, I was thinking about it with him. We were talking about it. I think this is one of the first newer movies because a lot of times he's been on. We've talked about movies from the 80s and 90s. So, really fun conversation there. So, stay tuned for that. Then next week, Ty is on for his monthly hit. We're going a little earlier in the month than usual. We're going to be looking at High Rollers. I think that's the sequel to, is it Cash Out? Or is High Rollers with whatever, the John Travolta movie, right? Randall Emmett. It's a sequel to the one we talked about before. So I think it's High Rollers, and Cash Out essentially Cash Out 2 is High Rollers. But we're doing that one. And then MR9 Do or Die. I don't know if you've seen that one. What is it? Michael Jai White, Frank Grillo. So we're firing up the Grillo again. It was one that was existing on Star's Purgatory for a long time, and then it just suddenly appeared on Hulu, and we're like, all right, let's make it happen. So we made that one, and High Rollers happen. So that'll be next week. You can check that out. And then in terms of the coming weeks, we're going to do some more recording for the couple weeks leading into Christmas, so keep an eye out for those. I've got some recording scheduled for those. But also, I have recorded some other episodes that we'll be getting up soon as well. So John from After Movie Diner, PM Entertainment Podcast, he was on, and we looked at two erotic thrillers with C. Thomas Howell and Joan Severance. For some reason I was drawing a blank on Joan Severance. How did you draw a blank on that name? But anyway, we looked at, I think it was Dangerous Indiscretion and Payback. We looked at those two. So looking maybe towards the end of the year, aiming for that one for that episode, but definitely keep an eye out for that. And then also, I just recorded a really fun episode. So I talked with Nicolette McKeown and Stephen Kerr from the movie Death Among the Pines. So you may remember we just recently released an episode with Tom Jolliffe, who was the screenwriter for that movie. So I recorded with them. They gave some really great insight, not just into the movie itself, but the craft of acting, the Scottish independent film scene, all of that. So keep an eye out for that episode. I'm going to probably time it for when maybe when the movie comes out on Tubi, something like that. So keep an eye out. That episode should be coming soon as well. But yeah, again, really great conversation. One of the things I will mention about that episode, so we did just like we did with Tom, where we did a pre and a post spoiler wall, so we could talk kind of in general terms about the movie and then really get into some spoilers after. A lot of their best gems come after the spoiler wall. So if you haven't seen Death Among the Pines yet, get out there and watch it for sure. And then in terms of the DTVC Extra, I'm not sure if we got anything planned for that. I mean, I see things all the time that I want to watch and do, so we'll see what happens. I mean, again, you just never know what's going to happen. I was thinking about doing a Running Man thing, but I just never made it to go see the Running Man, so we'll see. So keep an eye out. We might have something there. Also, the YouTube channel, I did record something for Hard Justice, but I couldn't get the lighting right for the opening and closing of it. And to be honest, I probably need better equipment to do the opening and closing. I think I'm at a point now where the lighting in my apartment, or in the office that I work in, just isn't good enough for that anymore. So I'm debating about maybe releasing it without an open and close. So I may do it that way and maybe just put something in the description saying, hey, getting away from the open and close this time. Tell me what you think. That might be what we get, just so we can get another episode up there. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel is doing well. People are checking it out. So, I mean, again, I'm making the original videos, but also all of the podcast episodes go up there too. So you can always check those out there if you find it's better. I mean, I do listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube, so I kind of find it's better myself to kind of just have that. And I also kind of prefer like audio only stuff on YouTube because I can do other things while I'm listening to it, right? If it's a video, I feel like I got to keep checking back, kind of see what's going on there. So anyway, you can check the podcast out there. Yeah, and then in terms of the site, we just posted Flesh of the Unforgiven. And so that one, it was a spoiler, or sorry, not spoiler. I'm talking about spoilers. It was a screener request from producer Joe Williamson, who we've done a lot of his movies. A lot of times he'll give us Harley Wayland films. There's a few that he'll give us, but he gave us this one here from director Joe Hollow. Also starred Debbie Rochon. Debbie Rochon, so big thanks to Cam Sully, who does the Jacked Up Review podcast. He mentioned Debbie Rochon in my post for that episode, or for that blog post on Instagram, and she followed me. She shared the post and everything. She really dug the review, so really cool there. So definitely, we've definitely got some Debbie Rochon planned for later this month. So keep an eye out on the podcast for sure. But anyway, so that was really cool. If you haven't checked out that one, that review is up now. This weekend we're gonna go back to the PM well. It's been too long without PM, so we're gonna do ice. I needed to do a movie with an exploding helicopter because I don't know if you saw on Blue Sky. If you're not on Blue Sky, you got to get on there. Get off of Twitter, move over to Blue Sky. We're all over there. We're all having a great time posting stuff. But Will from Exploding Helicopter, he posted his letterbox lister. I think he mentioned, what number of movie it was that he'd seen with an exploding helicopter, and I was like, yeah, I'm only at like 23%. He's like, Matt, that's horrible. You got to get your numbers up. And so I was like, okay, well, what are some PM flicks that I haven't seen? It's really I think there's 3 more PM flicks that I have to see after Ice, which I've seen Ice now, but 3 more that I've got to see that have exploding helicopters in them. I think it's To Be the Best is one. Mayhem? Not Mayhem. Midnight. What was it? The one that I can't even think of the name of it because I can't even think of the name of the modern movie that was made that was kind of like not a ripoff, but like a version of it. You're probably listening to me say this like you know what I'm talking about, but it's like I think it's like Midnight Warrior or something like that, or Midnight Raider, whatever. That's the movie about a guy who kind of goes out and like films stuff late at night. I haven't seen that one yet. I believe that one's also got an exploding helicopter. And then Silencers. I've got to check that one out as well. That one's got exploding helicopters. So 3 PM flicks with exploding helicopters that I haven't seen yet. We got to do those at some point. So expect those reviews in the near future. Also, Isaac Florentine, I was looking at his stuff. I'm pretty close to getting all of his movies reviewed. So I might do a binge of his, maybe get a review up by the end of the year for him as well. But as always, you can check out the upcoming reviews watched list. That'll tell you what movies I've seen that might be getting reviews in the near future. Of course, you probably see a few things in there that keep getting bumped down, like Kill 'Em All 2. So I don't know how good that is, but it gives you a sense of it, I guess, to see what could be coming next. And then we're kind of closing in here on the end here. A few things I want to quick shout out. Actually, speaking of Chris the Brain Kacvinsky from Bulletproof, he posted a book club post on Bulletproof Action, and in that he mentioned Bainbridge. So I want to give him a shout out there. Thank him for that again. If you haven't checked that out, the link to Bulletproof Action is in the podcast description. So you can go there, look up the book club. I'm not the only book that they spotlighted there, so definitely check that out as well. So that was really cool to see that. And then in terms of podcast episodes that I've recorded, I did record one with Todd Liebenow. I'm not sure when he's going to be posting that one, probably in the near future. But otherwise, I think we're caught up on the ones that I've recorded for other people's sites. So I haven't been as busy as I usually am, but I've got some recording lined up here for some other people soon. So we'll see what happens. So, as always, watch this space. And then, of course, as I'm rambling here, as we're closing in on 8 minutes, my newest book, Mark and Sales, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited in paperback. Get yourself a copy. Always appreciate it if people want to buy my books. Hey, it's the Christmas season here. What's the worst that happens? You buy somebody my book, maybe they don't like it, but hey, if they don't like it, at least I like the fact that I got a sale, right? So at least you did something good there. You can't lose that way. So, but I think they will like it. My hunch is that if people buy it, they will like it. So definitely pick that one up for me. I always appreciate anybody who wants to help me in supporting my books. So why don't we have John play in our theme song? So John Cross, After Movie Diner. Actually, I should mention here, I know you're like, when are you going to get to the episode, Matt? Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures. This Friday is a Bandcamp Friday. Go on to Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures. The link is in the podcast description. This Friday, buy up some of John's albums of Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures because it's Bandcamp Friday, so he keeps all of the fees. So if you've been wanting to get into his music, and you should, we're going to be talking about the theme song here as we open this episode. Get onto Bandcamp and buy some of his music. This is the time to do it. Friday, at Bandcamp Friday, buy up 2 or 3 of his albums. They don't cost that much. You get them downloaded directly to you. You don't have to worry about Spotify streams or how much he gets from Spotify. He gets the money from Bandcamp, so definitely do that. All right, I think I've rambled enough. Why don't we kick this one off? So John will play in our theme song, then when we come back, Chris the Brain Kacvinsky from Bulletproof Action is on, and we are going to be looking at Diablo. Hey everyone, welcome back to the DTVC podcast. As always, this is Matt here, and I'm joined by very special guest. Once again, we've got Chris the Brain from Bulletproof Action on. Welcome back, Chris.
Direct to video connoisseur. What a theme song you have.
Yes, so that was John who did that.
I know.
Yeah, when I first started the podcast back in 2014, it was John and Mo Porn. They asked me, like, they were creating a whole night of podcasts, and they were like, hey, we'd like to have you do a podcast with us. So I was like, okay. So then Mo came to me and he's like, well, what do you have for a theme song? And I was going to do Mr. Big Strike Like Lightning, just because Navy SEALs love that song. And he's like, well, you can't have a song that's copyrighted. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, just ask John. John will do something for you. And so I did. I was like, hey, Mo said to ask you about doing a theme song. He's like, yeah, okay. I mean, it really wasn't long. I want to say it was like 15, 20 minutes later. Like, it wasn't like, it didn't take him long to do it. And he came back and banged us out. I was like, hey, that sounds amazing. I like that. Now he'll say to me, he's like, I can't believe you're still using that song. But I don't know. I love it. I think it's great.
A fantastic thing. You have a theme song, for God's sake.
Right, exactly. Yes.
How many podcasters could say they have their own theme song?
Yeah.
But you do. So yeah, great theme song. Everybody survived your 25-minute cold open. Everything's great here.
Exactly. Yeah, that cold open, every time it was like getting to like the 20-minute range. So I cut it down and I was like getting in like 5 or 6 minutes, but now it's getting back up there again. I think, the YouTube channel, it's like you think the YouTube channel and doing videos on there would only be enough for like a minute or two. But for some reason, I feel like I've got to explain all kinds of things when I'm talking about the YouTube channel. So,
yeah. It's a great world that we live in. You have so many things to plug. It's an embarrassment of riches when you're the DTVC.
Exactly. Yes. It's tiring sometimes though too. It's like you know what it is? It's like one of those things where you're like, where I'm like, oh, I don't have to make, like, the YouTube video thing was like, I was making them like once a week, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make one of those once a week because they're just not going to be that good. Like, there's like, it's like I'm just making them just to make them. It's like, all right, like, well, my Moxie hat and do another one. So yeah. One thing I forgot to mention is I do at one point want to do the sweeper, some of the sweeper action sequences on the YouTube channel, but I'm waiting until I can find a good, affordable House of Pain hacks. I feel like you would be disappointed if I didn't have the House of Pain hat for that.
I would thumbs down your YouTube video.
Exactly. Yes.
I would create 1,000 accounts and just thumbs down the hell out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I saw it. I found one for like $30. I don't know if it's vintage or for like a knockoff. I don't know exactly, but it looks very similar to the one C. Thomas Howell is wearing in the sweeper. So
do it. Go to the ATM and get that money out, exactly. And then send it.
Yes. Just make sure I watch my back while I'm doing it, because some guy in a coat might come by and stab me. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Now, funny thing is, so that was what we talked about, the sweeper, which was C. Thomas Howell, someone that you wouldn't expect to be an action star. But today we're talking about someone that everybody pretty much knows as an action star. We've got Scott Adkins here. We're talking about Diablo, which I know you reviewed on the site.
Oh, absolutely. Diablo. I mean, and we're doing this at a great time of year, because we're getting to that point of the year where people are going to start making lists. Yeah. And I would not be shocked if every action fan had this movie in their top 5, because it is that damn good. Scott Adkins and Marco Zaror in the same movie, which we've seen it before, but I mean, this is like, this is another level for them. Both put on great performances. We expect the action from these guys, but just the acting and the characters in this movie are top tier.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing that I wasn't expecting, especially from Zaror. And I don't know why I didn't expect it, because it's not like I had any reason to not expect it. I mean, like John Wick 4, he's kind of playing a character in there. He's bringing something to the table, because if he didn't bring anything into the table, I don't think it would have been as great of a performance there. So it's like I didn't have a reason to think he couldn't do this, but it's one of those things, I guess, when he does it, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess he could do that.
I think the bald head helped with the shock value, too.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the most unexpected thing.
Right. I wonder too. Well, I mean, I know he does a lot of work with a lot of people, but this is another collaboration he's doing with director Ernesto Diaz Espinosa, right. And I wonder if that's part of it, where it's like, remember, with Atkins doing all that great stuff with Jesse V. Johnson. It's almost like a similar collaboration between these two, Zaror and Espinosa.
Yeah, you get those action versions of Scorsese, De Niro, and there's two examples right there that you just gave.
Yeah, and I wonder if that kind of gets. I mean, again, I feel like Zaror. If anybody came to him and said, "Hey, can you do something?" I know he did. Was it Invincible? He did with Daniel Zarilli, where it was like a kind of a ripoff of Universal Soldier, uh, but he was playing essentially the Dolph esque character. But he did again. He brought like a humanity to a character that's supposed to be a mindless killer, and so yeah, he does bring a little bit more to these roles.
Another thing about Diablo is it definitely had like a theatrical feel to it. Like I could have seen this being in the theater. Uh, it reminded me a great deal of like the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, early '90s. Like this almost felt like maybe it was like Scott Adkins' Nowhere to Run.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, or like a Deathborn or something like maybe, not like a hard target level, but like kind of that next tier of his
Right.
movies.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because it's like, it has this, like you said, it's got a look to it. I think Espinosa is a good he's an excellent director, and I think he's also a good editor. So I didn't realize that until I looked him up on IMDb and saw he had more editing credits than he has directing credits. But I was like, this is shot really well, and it's put
Yeah.
together really well, and with action movies, you'd think. Maybe this is bad bias on my part, but it's almost like, oh, okay, an action movie being made in Chile, I would think maybe, or I guess this was directed in Colombia, but it's still it's South America, that okay, maybe it's not going to have the same kind of polish, but this definitely does.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to it, but just that finale. That finale looked big.
Yeah.
It was a huge kind of playground that they were playing in at the end there, and it just made it feel, it was big. It made the movie feel big, and yeah, I kind of wish I did see this in the movie theater, but
Yeah,
I'm just glad I saw it.
Same here, because it did have a very limited release, didn't it, or did it?
It probably did. I don't remember. I know I was fortunate. Like in the last minute, I got a screener for it. I'm like, oh, good,
Nice.
excellent. I wasn't expecting. Like, I was more than ready to rent it, but I'm like, all right.
Yeah, well, that's what happened.
Free is always better than pay,
Right,
folks.
exactly. Well, because if they know you're going to review it, you could kind of call it complimentary, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah, I know for me, I've got a backlog of screeners. Not a lot. I've got a few that I've got to do. So yeah, when you get something like that, it's like, okay, yes, there's a quid pro quo involved.
Right.
Now you don't have to say it's the greatest thing ever if you don't like it, but if you like it, it's always a fun thing to be able to be like, oh, I can extol the virtues of this.
Right, and it's definitely one I do need to add to my collection. As far as I don't know if it's even out in physical.
I don't know if it is either. I know it's on Prime.
Right.
So it's weird because Amazon listed as to buy or rent on Prime, and I think it's usually like the orange Amazon symbol on IMDb that says you can buy it on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it is available, but I don't.
I don't think it is either, but when it is,
yeah,
I would gladly pick it up, because this one, that's another thing I want to mention about it. This one has a great deal of rewatchability.
Yeah.
This being, I watch it for the second, but I'm like, wow, this is so good. Like I could see me watching this again 2 months from now. It's a lot of the Scott Adkins movies, like even Prisoner of War, I enjoyed that movie, but do I have a real urge to watch it again anytime soon? Probably not. But this one, I was like, wow, that was so freaking good. I want to watch it again. And I certainly have now watched it again, and I will watch it again.
Yeah, I think
maybe if the Blu-ray comes out.
Right, if you get a Blu-ray, definitely. That's another good point about this, is that if you just read the description of the movie, it almost sounds like every other Scott Adkins movie. Because how many movies did he do where somebody was kidnapped that he had to rescue? There's a Legacy of Lies, Seized.
Right.
What was the Eliminators? I think as well. His daughter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's just always rescuing family members that are kidnapped. What was the Close Range? That was kind of like that, but kind of not. I guess I don't know. They were being held hostage, right?
Yeah, they were trying to. He was protecting his home or his family's home. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one does not follow that same paradigm quite the same way, but also the inclusion of Marco Zaror and the fact that you've got both Zaror and Adkins, and it's like at any moment you could have either one of those two beating the crap out of a whole bunch of stunt guys and making it look fantastic. Even if they're not fighting each other, it just makes for such a great movie.
And they fight each other quite a bit as well. So it's like, yeah, this has got so much action. And again, yeah, the story it's not anything that's never been done before, but it is executed well. And this movie looks good, and it's slick, and it looks big time. And I'm very glad you invited me to come talk about it again.
Yeah, I was thinking the fact that we've the movies that we've had you on so far, we've covered almost all the big names, and I was like, okay, we haven't done Scott Adkins yet, and then I was looking up Scott Adkins.
We covered C. Thomas Howell, for God's sake. The names don't get much bigger than that, folks.
Right, exactly. Yeah, which led to that huge tangent on Alice when we saw the ATM sequence there.
Why wouldn't it?
Right.
Maybe I should ask John if he could do a song for me that's a parody of the theme from Alice.
From Alice, you could reach out and see it. Yeah.
There's a man with a pod and his friends are dumb. I don't know, something like that.
Right. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah. No, that's that would be it's that song itself, right? It's so iconic. Yeah, if you just had like that, just played that as your open for Bulletproof. I mean, I love the Bulletproof opening, but yeah, because I kind of just I don't know, like when I hear that opening for Bulletproof, it's like I know I'm going to be hearing whatever it is you guys are discussing, like I know it's going to be getting the bulletproof treatment, and I'm always excited for that. Especially, I was thinking of some of my favorites, like before was like Gladiator, the Cuba Gooding Jr. one. But I mean, this most recent one when you guys covered Death Wish 4, I was like waiting for the bulletproof treatment for that one, and it's just like, yeah, it's exactly what you want from that. So that music kind of gets me in the mindset.
Gets you pumped up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, we talked about doing some Linda Lavin. Yeah,
I want John to do his best Linda Lavin impersonation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
while he's dressed like Vic Tayback.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why. The Vic Tayback look, I mean, I guess he didn't really look like that outside the diner, right? Whenever they hung out outside the diner, unless they were watching a game or something, maybe he would just be in the white T-shirt. But it seemed like he had like a lot of coats and stuff that he wore. I don't remember Phoenix I've never really been to Phoenix, but I don't know. I guess it does get cold maybe in the winter, but it seemed like he always had coats on for such a big guy. Yeah. I don't know if maybe he just overheated in the kitchen.
Yeah, he was so used to the hot kitchen that when he wasn't in there, he felt cold.
Right. Yes, he had to put a coat on. Yeah. Good old Vic. Good old Vic Tayback. Yes, gotta love him.
Glad we got that out of the way early.
Exactly. We got the Alice tangent out as soon as possible. But yeah, no, I was like, okay, so let's do Scott Adkins, and I was looking up what he had. I was like, oh wait, Diablo's suddenly available on Prime, because for most of this year it's been a $5.99 rental.
Right.
And so to now have it be available for us to do, streaming is like, okay, let's do it. And the thing with Diablo is it's not quite to the level of Avengement. Like I remember I came back from my unplanned hiatus that I had between 2015, 2019. I came back in 2019 and people were like, you got to do Avengement, Matt. And I was like, okay, I'll do Avengement. And then I would do things like Debt Collectors, or Accident Man or something like that. And they're like, no, what are you doing? You've got to do Avengement. And Diablo is not quite at that level, but there is a bit of like you got to get to this one at some point.
I know Ryan Campbell, one of my co-hosts, loves Avengement. That's like his favorite Scott Adkins movie of all time. I don't believe he's seen Diablo yet, so it would be interesting to see how he ranks the two against one another.
Right, exactly. Yeah, 'cause I think for me, I think I still like Avengement better, but this is. I mean, if somebody was to say, I think John said he liked, so I technically talked about this with him on his podcast, but I hadn't seen it yet. So essentially,
I talked to him about he really loves Diablo because he mentioned it to me when I think we talked about it for a bit.
That's right. When you were on the PM podcast. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I think he was kind of coming off of still what? Yeah, because
it was pretty fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I remember. That's right. I remember hearing you guys talk about that. That's right. So, because you had reviewed it for the site at that time. So
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of buzz around it, and it was like, okay, let's make it happen. And I think this is the first new movie though that I've had you on to talk about. I think all the other ones have been older ones.
That is true. I felt a bit strange about it.
Right.
Um, we usually talk about things that are 30 years old or more.
Exactly.
But here we are, like Alice. But listen now, here we are. This is just months old, not even a year old.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got iPhones in it. Is that, like modern technology in the film? It was kind of, it was jarring almost to see. Yeah.
What? Well, oh, yeah, yeah. That the girl, the daughter in here, she could be one of those people you encounter at Trader Joe's. This is real time, real life.
Yes, yes. My good old my Trader Joe's experience when I go in that, like, yeah, it's like if here in Philadelphia we've got the Trader Joe's. It's across the street from the convention center, and so, but also, yeah, if I go in too late, the younger people, like, yeah, I guess she might be a little young. She was born in '08, so she's probably a little young. They're probably more like a '05 ish, but yeah, they get in there late and they kind of just wander around Trader Joe's like zombies, talking on their phones. The thing I forgot to mention is the worst one is the boyfriend or husband who is tagging along and is just finding places to stand because
Yeah.
there is no place to stand in Trader Joe's. You should be standing out on the sidewalk. That's the only place to stand.
I'm against shopping entourages at any store, but yeah, when they're the more compact store layouts,
Yeah.
and nah,
Now,
you don't need to bring an entourage.
No. It's funny when my when I visited my family this past weekend. My mom picked me up at the bus station. She's like, I got to run to the grocery store for some things. And at first, she was like, I could drop you off at home first. And I was like, no, that's just kind of obnoxious. But she's like, do you want to sit in the car? And I was like, yes, I want to sit in the car. I just because again, like you said, I don't want to be a shopping entourage. She's like going to be going around the store getting the things she needs to get. I don't need to be standing around and like I don't know what there is to look for in a grocery store if you're not there to actual shop.
Right.
Oh, did you know they had this flavor of Pop-Tarts? I had no
Right.
idea.
It's not like the old days where you could go by the magazines
Right. Yes.
and just kill a bunch of time over there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still some magazines but it's not like the old days.
No. And then they also sometimes have that rack with the comic books on it that you could spin
Oh
around.
yeah, that's where I got most of my comic books as a youngster. And it would be like some of those, like they'd be 3-packs.
Oh yes.
So they would jam some oddball one in between, like, oh, there's a Spider-Man in here and a whatever Superman. Who knew what was in the middle there?
Right.
Could be anything.
Yes.
It was like Howard the Duck sometimes, or something
Right.
like I would never have picked this.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, it was like Guardians of the Galaxy, which suddenly became three of like the highest grossing Marvel movies
Yeah.
ever. It became these characters was a big deal, and it's
Yeah.
like Guardians of the Galaxy, like that. Yeah, right. That was like the dud that would be in between like your Spider-Man and Daredevil or Spider-Man and Superman comics.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
No, right, exactly. I remember when the Patriots beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. I guess because Chris Evans is from Boston and Chris Pratt is from Seattle, so they had one of these bets where like the loser would have to go with the winner to their charities, like hospitals and stuff like
Right.
that, dressed as like the characters. And they're like, oh, Chris Pratt's going dressed as Star-Lord, and I'm like, he's going dressed as what? Like, is that like a made up thing? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, no, it's a Marvel Comics character. It's like a big enough deal that kids cared that he was dressed as Star-Lord to go to the hospital. So, I'd feel like for me that would feel like like some kind of like school play thing or something like that, or school like event thing where they got this crummy like acting troupe to play random characters. It's like, like, oh, there's Star-Lord. That guy's Star-Lord. Okay, yeah, more like Star-Dork.
Oh, nice.
Right. Well, Diablo. I guess we'll get stuck in here on our Diablo plot here. I mean, the movie starts with an ominous-looking fellow crossing the border into some place. We don't know exactly. We find out it's Colombia because we see signs put up. And what is it? It's painted on the sign something like where good things go to die or something like that, or good things turn bad.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, they translated it for us, and I just didn't write it down, make note of it or anything. I just thought it was
me either, because that's why I love to be on your show, because I don't take note one. I just watch the movie and soak it in and come out here and say nonsense.
Right, exactly.
My show, I have to take the meticulous notes and be prepared.
Yeah. You also do facilitation on your show. Yeah. There's no facilitation here either. So
no.
But yeah, so he gets to the other side, or not he. I shouldn't say he because we don't know what's going on here. But
Well, why did the Adkins
right,
cross the road?
right, exactly to get to it exactly. Yeah, so they open up the back of the guy parks. Somebody else. It's just some other ominous looking figure is hanging out. He gets out with like a crowbar. They open up this box, and we find out that it's Adkins, and he gets out. And we think, okay, so that's interesting. They smuggled him across the border, and then we think, okay, he's just going to leave and everything. And they're like, no, we want money. It's like, well, you already got paid. And we know what that's like, right? You know, somebody shows up with something. It's like, hey, I already paid for this. Oh, you did? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe he was used to bad experiences with like Rent-A-Center or something like that. You know, it's like, wait, you want payment again? What's going on here? And of course, you know, I it would be nice to see what Adkins would have done with maybe some Rent-A-Center people or something like that. You know, coming over to ask for more money and he just beats the crap out of them. But that's what happens here. These guys try to get more money from. They try to shake him down essentially, and
Right.
he beats the crap out of them. And then he takes their car for good measure.
I mean, perfect. I mean, what a wonderful introduction to the Chris Cheney. Is that what's his name? Cheney?
I think so.
No relation to the recently deceased Dick Cheney. But yeah, you know, there you go. We've now introduced one of our key players in the form of Scott Adkins, which now means we go on the other side of that coin and we get introduced to absolutely one of the creepiest characters in recent action movie history, I would say.
Yes, and what I love about this, and I don't know what your feelings were here, but what I loved was that they show him in this workshop. Marco Zaror, he's in this workshop. He's got all of these torture things around him, and knives and blades and all of this stuff. And we get the sense that he might be a serial killer, that he might do horrible things to women. But they never actually show him doing any horrible things to women.
Well, not yet.
Right, exactly. That we do get something close to it, but not quite. We don't. They don't show us the horrible things. I guess I should say they don't. Yeah, we don't get the grisly details. I think, which is good.
And you know, he's got the hand gimmick, which obviously, anytime you have hand gimmick or mirrors, you've got to think Enter the Dragon.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and we know Espinosa. He does like to pull from things like that. I mean, he made a movie called what was it, like Bring Me the Head of the Machine Gun Woman?
Yes.
Yeah, which you know, we all know the Peckinpah movie, right? Bring Me the Head of our Alfredo Garcia. So,
but you know what? Where is the Bring Me the Head of Lance Henriksen documentary that Michael Wirth has been working on for the past 25 years?
Yeah.
Where's that at? Michael Wirth, are you listening?
He listens to your podcast, right? I don't think he's been on your podcast, hasn't he?
He's been on, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that documentary? Also, where's my Fist of Iron poster? Also, when are we getting more Bruce Floyd? You know what, though? I don't need to spend more money on Bruce. Whatever. Answer any of these questions, Michael Wirth. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the thing is too. It's this time of year. If they put out more Bruceploitation this time of year, you know, it's the Christmas present to myself kind of thing.
Right, it would be. It would have to be, because who's going to buy that for me?
Yeah, and then like you look at the stack of whatever stuff it is, and you're like, boy, that's a lot of Christmas presents to myself, and I really didn't get much for anybody else, and so yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't deserve it. You can look at it that way.
Right, that's a good point.
I mean, I've had to deal with myself all year, and I know that I either deserve it or could use it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah, you just, you know, there's sort of that thing too where you're just like, you know what, I deserve it, right? It's like, yeah, you work all week and it's like it's been a crazy week, you know, it's like that kind of thing. What I try to stop myself on it is the DoorDash, Uber Eats kind of thing, where it's like it's Friday or Saturday. It's like, you know what, I worked all week. I don't feel like cooking. Why don't I blow, you know, $80 on like it's like junk food that's just going to make me sick anyway. And that's the one that I try to avoid, because that's the one I always feel guilty about after. But like actually buying something that you know you're going to utilize or something after, it's almost like one of those things where it's like, all right, maybe maybe I'm going to have to eat ramen for a couple more days, but at least I got this thing or something.
Right, it's an investment in my entertainment. It could be potentially, I could justify it as content for my various projects. one day I could write that off in my taxes, but I don't think that day is going to be anytime soon.
No, you have to incorporate Bulletproof. I think it'd be Bulletproof
Yeah,
Action
and I
Incorporated.
would have to probably prove that is my main source of income, which that's not happening anytime soon.
No,
Unless I think if we all just hang out long enough, we'll eventually just get sucked up by these mergers.
Right.
Because somebody will be like, well, we need something to buy. We have nothing left. We'll buy the DTVC podcast.
Right.
Okay, Paramount. Yeah. Go for it. Make them an offer.
Yeah, I am for sale if Paramount wants to buy. Depending on what they want to spend. I've always kind of wondered too, like if they did buy, like I've seen that. I don't know if you've seen that commercial for T-Mobile where Billy Bob Thornton says that T-Mobile opened up a can of Whoop Up instead of Whoop Ass, and it's like, and thinking that Billy Bob Thornton is rich too. It's like, what would I have to get paid? And it probably wouldn't be that much for someone to pay, for me to say something so asinine. But
you do it for free on this program every week.
Yes. So I don't say Whoop Up, I guess. Well, I just said it now, didn't I? I guess, yeah. So open up a can of Whoop Up. Yeah. I have the explicit tag on here, so I can say Whoop Ass,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
better tag that. I think I've forgotten to do that sometimes, and Lord knows. Some words slip up sometimes.
Yeah, you might have a 10-year-old who's playing around on a podcast and doesn't
want to learn about Death Wish 4,
right? Which is about when we all were, how old we all were when we learned about it. So It's not the worst thing. I'm trying to get that, because that came out in the late 80s, right?
That's 1987.
87, yeah. So
November 6th, 1987, if we're being exact.
Yeah. So I would have been about that age. And there was no explicit tag on the TV at that time. They hadn't created those little symbols in the corner like TV 14 and all that.
Oh yeah. No, we didn't have that yet.
No. I remember.
Didn't we get that once Janet Jackson pulled her boobs out?
Was that what it was?
Or did it start before that?
I think it was even before that. I think it was because MTV. I think it was because Tipper Gore didn't like MTV, and
that could be.
That was an issue. Yeah. I discovered how many shows are, just as an aside, how many shows are TV 14 when I'm visiting my grandparents one time, and somehow the parental controls had been turned on so that anything TV 14 and above, anything worse than TV 14 and above, had this big black box on the screen. And I just remember, I think like Jerry Springer or Maury Povich would be TV 14. Soap operas were TV 14. It was like anything. So I had to go on the internet and figure out how to do it, because you can't just unplug the TV and plug it back in, because then the kids would just do that and get around so it was like this whole to do it. But I didn't realize how many shows are considered TV 14.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes where it's TVG and you're like, wow, right. Really? Like Alice might be TVG.
Yeah, I think all the old ones are considered, except for maybe All in the Family, because they're like, oh, well, he talks about racist stuff, so we can't.
Yeah, I don't think probably Sanford. Yeah, probably like the Norman Lear ones, because they dealt with a little bit more heavy subject matter at times, or they were just a little bit pushing the envelope.
Yeah, well, you think about like when John Amos dies in Good Times, Florida's like, damn. Right. That's definitely TV 14. You can't be a little kid hearing her say that. That's just not, yeah.
And I know there's some Sanford and Sons that would not fly today.
No, right. Yes.
I know. Yeah. I've seen that show many, many times, and I see the clips being constantly recycled on Instagram.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so great though to be able to get like on MeTV and stuff like that. I don't know if Sanford and Sons on MeTV or one of the other ones, but Get, that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how those shows like I think they get better with age, because I'm older and I get the jokes more now. So it's like, I thought they were funny when I was too young to get half the jokes. So now it's like, now that I'm old enough, it's.
I mean, when I first watched Sanford and Son, I swore that Grady's name was Gravy.
Right.
I don't know if I just made too much earwax or what was going on as a kid, but I was like, oh, yeah, Gravy. And they're like, no, his name's Grady.
Right.
Like, oh, I thought his name was Gravy.
Yeah. Well, because you didn't have like all these different ways to see the name, I mean, I guess the TV guide might have said, Grady did such and such on this eepisode. So
True.
if you were going that far in to like read the TV, but when the show's in reruns, you're not really like looking it up on TV guide. You usually,
Yeah, I was just watching. It just came on. It was on. It
yeah,
was like the 6:30. It was probably after we ate dinner, and I've been okay. Now I'm gonna go watch TV.
yeah. It's not like you're looking through like, oh, it's the episode where, where Sanford pretends to have tuberculosis or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, or, right. Who got one of them had tuberculosis in one of the episodes. I can't remember how it was, but it's like you're not looking to go, oh, it's that episode. I don't want to watch that one. It's like you wait for it to start and you're like, okay, it's that episode. Yeah. All right. I want to watch that or I don't.
And as a kid, I don't even think I realized that they had like titles for each episode.
Right. Exactly.
It was just a show. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Especially again, in reruns, you're just watching it and there's no concept of what season 1 or 2 or because they just all run together.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is back then they didn't really care about like running everything in order either. They were just like, we're gonna play whatever. I think like that's why everybody thought that Jump the Shark with Happy Days like killed the show, even though it was like 5 more seasons after he jumps the shark. And it's like, I think 4 of those 5 seasons, they were the number 1 show in America at that time.
Right.
But the reason is that like those later shows, when they got rid of Ron Howard or when he left the show, a lot of syndication, they didn't play those episodes. They were like, well, Ted McGinley, what we want to, and Fonz is like, dating a single mom and hanging out in an apartment above the, wherever it was that he was living, above the Cunninghams. I can't remember even where, but like they didn't air those episodes. They were just like, okay, now that Ron Howard's done, we're going to start back at the beginning, and then we're not going to show the ones with the brother either. It was like,
right. You don't want Manny Fraker on your TV every week,
right,
or day when it's in reruns.
Yeah, no. And again, Ted McGinley, that's just confusing because you're just like, wait, am I watching Love Boat? Am I watching, Married with Children? Or, what am I watching? What is
Revenge of the Nerds?
Right, exactly.
The series?
Exactly, right. Yeah, Ted McGinley's just confusing, so you don't want that. So now it's like this thing, where everything's got to be binged and it's like all in order and all of that stuff. But that wasn't really how, I remember WKRP, I think they only showed the episode where Les threw the turkeys out the helicopter on Thanksgiving. Otherwise, they never showed that episode.
Interesting. Yeah, that could be.
That's how I remember it. Who knows? I'm just going off my memory. Who know? I was 10. I don't or 8 or whatever it was that I was at that time. So it's been
What about Soap? What do you think of that?
Soap, yes. Yeah, for people listening, I can't remember which episode of your podcast was that when Toyman brought up Soap. That was
I don't know, but man, was that could have been one of the Substitute.
I think you might be right.
It was a Substitute, the first one, because the librarian. Oh, don't you recognize that she was on 3 episodes of Soap?
Right, that's right.
No.
Right. That's right. And I think it's like Soap is like this whole other thing that like, I think I was joking with you that like, I only know Soap because it was on, I think before like Monty Python or MST3K on Comedy Central in the afternoons. So I was like, I can't handle the amount of Soap. Like, it's like, I'm just waiting for Soap to end for those other shows to be on. And it's like, even just waiting for Soap to end was too much. It was like, I don't know how that show spawned a spinoff that was a better show, right? With Benson.
Oh yeah.
But also Billy Crystal, like, it's like,
I mean, yeah, it served its purpose, but how anyone is supposed to remember that this librarian was in 3 episodes or whatever the hell he said.
Yeah.
I tell you what, yeah.
Yes, but people should listen to those Substitute episodes because they were a lot of fun. I was, that was a back to school week, right? Or back to school.
We had about 3 weeks of back to school. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to pick up with Substitute 3 and 4 next year.
Yeah.
If we don't get thrown off the Geekscape network by then.
Exactly. Is 4 the one with Angie Everhart? Is that?
It is. And Patrick Kilpatrick, yes.
Yes.
Oh, the military school.
That's right. Oh, what a, yeah. So I can't wait to hear you guys talk about that one next year. But I'll feel bad because there's a lot of kids that will be really anxious because they're going to be having to go back to school soon. But hey, I'm in my mid to late 40s here. I could care less about going back to school. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy that it's going to be getting cooler out, and I'm going to be happy to be hearing some Bulletproof talk about substitute back to school. Yeah. Now, I guess with Diablo, I guess one of the things we I forget to mention. So we have Chekhov's. Well, I don't know if it's Chekhov's. It's when Scott Adkins is being driven into the city, and we don't know if this is Bogota or where in Colombia, but as he's being driven to the city, he notices a homeless guy or an unhoused individual washing somebody's car. And he gets a crazy, grinchy idea, but we don't really know what he's thinking. We just notice that he notices that.
Hmm.
So we'll put a pin in that while we meet the daughter, played Elisa, and she's played by Alana De La Rosa. She's meeting her dad, Vicente, which if you go on IMDb and see his picture, yeah, I don't know what that is. It's like he's doing a Village People thing or something. I don't know what that picture
He's
is.
a macho man, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. But we see the two of them meet each other. It's it's affectionate, borderline creepy, maybe, I don't know. But he seems to be doting on his daughter. He really cares about her. We also get the sense that he's a very rich and powerful man, and she's in her school uniform.
Yeah, and you get the sense that she is in fact his entire life.
Yeah.
Most important person in his life is his daughter. And I need to, and I the first time I watched, obviously I was happy with both of these characters. They're supporting players. They did a great job. But you really got to give it up to the Elisa character, because she could have destroyed this movie.
Yes.
The younger actors, and obviously she's a teenager, but you get a kid actor, and kids could destroy a movie. But she was very, very good in this role. And she also kind of helps give like a natural reason for exposition dumps, because she doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Right.
And we're kind of in the shoes with her. Like, why is this happening? And when Scott Adkins explains to her, he's also explaining to us. So very, very important character in this movie.
Yeah, and the stuff that she gets dumped on her, these exposition dumps, it's a lot to take. Yeah, you don't know. And as we go through this episode, the movie, some of these things that come up that she gets thrown at her, it's a bit crazy. She kind of gets put through the ringer. I mean, yes, Adkins gets put through the ringer as well, which we'll talk about as well. But yeah, you're right. Like, she puts it for someone who's only she's only 17, which I know. There's also a Winger song called, that has the same line. And I wasn't trying to evoke that song, but yeah, she's only 17, and
17.
Right, exactly, right. You think she'd be too young to be in that scene? I don't know. I don't want to say the actual line that Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me, because that's like the worst line ever.
Just said it.
I know. I just said it. I
did it again.
I know. I was trying to avoid. Yeah. It's
whoop up, and now this.
Right. I know.
You're out of control. You're out of control on this episode.
Yeah. I do think you could get away with a song like that now. I mean, there was that one. There was the Benny Mardones, the If I Could Fly one. It's like, and that one, like the Benny Mardones one, that came back and had a second life even. So it was like, even, it wasn't like the first time was bad enough. They were like, okay, the first time, yeah, it's not, and then the second time, we're like, oh yeah, let's chart it again. It just, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess unfortunately, maybe it's good that we live in a time where you can't. I mean, you hope that you can't make a song like that, but I don't know.
I don't want to know.
No, exactly.
Don't even try it anymore.
Right, exactly.
Don't even see if you can get away with it.
No, yeah. Anybody listening out there, don't do a cover of Winger 17.
Write a song about a locomotion or something. I don't know. Do something simple.
Right.
Come on, ride the train.
Yes, that's always a good one. Yeah, I was trying to think. I mean, of what good.
Somebody do a cover of the theme from Soap. Something.
Right, exactly. Right. I mean, back to life, back to reality. Right. That's just
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, and it's the same thing over and over again, and it works. No, nothing untoward in that song.
Mm-mm.
No. So I guess the next scene is the coffee shop, right, or the bakery sequence. Which is probably one of the most chilling sequences in the movie. And again, Zaror hits it out of the park.
Yeah, again, like I said, I mean, this is one of those characters. Like, he's an old timer. On Halloween, I did a list of 13 action movie monsters, and I put him on there with like major people like the Night Slasher and the freaking Predator and Kane from. I mean, he's right up there. He just came out months ago. He is already in like the Hall of Fame of action movie villains.
Yeah. I mean, he's sitting there like playing with this cake while the place closes. So the place closes. This woman named Alex is working there, and she tells
Not
him he's got.
Alice.
Oh, yeah. Is it Alex?
Okay.
Right? Oh, not Alice. Sorry, I thought you were correct. Yes. Yeah.
So I had to slip one more in there.
Oh, that would have been perfect if it was Alice. Yeah, she's, can you imagine because I don't think Alice ever did that kind of creepy. Norman Lear always did an episode like that where somebody was being held hostage, being
Poor
robbed.
Edith.
Yeah. Poor Edith. Oh, the Edith episode, the absolute worst. Yeah. I think that one came up on MeTV. My wife's like, we're not watching this. I was like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to watch that. So yeah, Norman Lear would have done that to poor Alice. So maybe we're fortunate that Alice wasn't a Norman Lear show. So she never got this Marco Zaror moment. Yeah, that Telly Savalas guest episode might have been completely different if Norman Lear had his way.
You're right.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so Zaror's sitting there playing with this chocolate cake, and she's like, "You got to go. I'm closing." He's like, he starts kind of saying like he's not leaving her. He starts talking to her, and she's like, "No, you got to go." And he grabs her, and that's like the first moment, right? Is that he just he grabs her, and then like he's taunting. He has her sit down. He's like going over this whole thing about, have you given yourself a gift? Have you tried this cake? All this stuff, and he opens up his hand to reveal that he's got a knife, and he like slices off a piece of the cake and he makes her eat it from the knife. He's like feeding her it, all creepy stuff. But then we get a reprieve, right? A friend of hers, a lady friend of hers who's a cop, shows up, pulls a gun on him. She says, "Don't arrest him. I don't want you to arrest him. Just let him go." Okay, that seems good enough. She's, the friend's like, you shouldn't be opening a restaurant in this neighborhood, which it doesn't seem like it's that bad of a neighborhood, but I will take their word for it. And they get in the police car to drive home. And who happens to be in the back seat? And I guess in Colombia, they don't have like that big glass partition in the back of the police car. So no, that's it. So he immediately kills the policewoman. And then we assume he's taking Alex back to his lair of sorts, but we don't see any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we know we've got ourselves a scary character here. So yeah. So now the next scene, we're on the highway again, and Elisa's being driven to the to her school, and we notice that the unhoused individual is trying to clean the window of the car, and the guy's like telling him no, no gracias, whatever, no thank you. I don't know exactly what he was saying, but he was saying probably some much more stronger worded language there, and the guy knocks off the window to his car. Now we've seen enough of these movies to know that this is not a simple washing the window situation, right? We know something's about to happen, but the surprise is, I guess that was maybe a surprise, maybe not a surprise, is that this fellow is actually Scott Adkins, and the girl escapes. He gets in his car and chases her. He's quite prepared, right? Because he just like speeds the car around, parks it, opens up the trunk, and throws her in it and drives off.
Yeah, and at this point, we have to be like, wait a minute. I thought Scott Adkins was the hero in this movie. What is he abducting a teenager for?
Right. And of course, just to keep us happy, those two guys that are driving the car get the crap beaten out of them by Adkins in really, well executed fashion. So again, we're not going too long without great scenes, because we got the opening scene, then we get these creepy scenes with Zaror that, even though they don't involve actual fighting or action, he's carrying them so strongly with his presence. And then we get another fight scene. So it's like we're already we're only like 20 minutes in, but we've already had a good amount of action.
Yeah, that's something I realized too, is like at one point I had to stop, and I was like, wow, so much has already happened. And I think I was exactly like 35 minutes in. And so much has happened, and we still got about an hour of movie left. So
yeah, it's really great. So here's where things kind of, maybe, I don't know if they slow down a bit, but we get the Scott Adkins is driving away, but then we go back to Vicente, and he's walking. His nice fancy shoes are walking on plastic. So again, we've seen enough of these movies to know when there's plastic on the floor, it's probably not a good sign for somebody.
No. Yeah, they're not about to do some painting,
Right,
folks.
exactly, right.
Well, at least not in the traditional sense.
Right, it's in the De Niro and the Irishman sense of painting walls or painting houses. Yeah, and Vicente, he's not happy that these two guys opened the door for the homeless guy, which I kind of get that myself. Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, he was, oh, there's a homeless guy out here who's watching my windows. Let me open the door and confront him. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, usually you're safest in your car. That's the whole idea. And so Vicente has a point there, I think. He was right to be upset with them. Now, I don't know if the feedback that he gave them, I don't, maybe a write-up might have been enough. I guess I get this is that big of a mess that it's not even simply a fireable offense, but
Again,
it is.
it's his daughter, the
Yeah.
most important person in his life.
Yeah. So there is no write-up. There is no probational period. There's no severance package. It's just beating to death with baseball bats.
Yeah, you're not coming back from that, folks.
No. But then he also puts the word out that, hey, anybody who can find my daughter and kill this guy who kidnapped her, you're going to get a huge reward. So now there's a sense that like all of the, whatever this part of Colombia's all
the underworld.
Yeah, they're coming for him. So it's almost like a little bit, you get a sense that maybe they're going to go with a Warriors approach here, but then we don't quite get to the Warriors level.
Right. Yeah. No, we don't. But yeah, every scumbag in Colombia is now on notice. It's almost a little bit more maybe like when John Wick, when he got his name came up, like there's a contract out on him, and everybody buzzed everybody's phone, and they're like, okay, you're screwed now, John Wick.
Yes, he's just like walking with the dog, and then they got to. The best part of that is when he has to start running, the dog just starts trotting along with him. The dog knows what's going on.
That dog is good. That's a good dog.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and of course you gotta love that Lance Riddick just knows what to do. Is that his name, Lance Riddick, or is that no? That's It is Lance. Okay. For some reason I was thinking Lance Riddick's the name of an ESPN guy, but I think it's something else. Lewis Riddick is the ESPN guy. Okay, right. So Lance Riddick, but yeah, it's what makes it. Anytime you have a character who is fond of animals, especially with dogs like that, that's automatically going to make them a likable character.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the easiest way to make someone likable is have them like dogs.
Yeah.
An easy way to make a person unlikable is make them hate dogs.
Yeah. One of the guys in the gang that attacks John Wick, the one who actually kills the dog in the first John Wick movie, he was so distraught by that between takes he would have to pet the dog. He said it was actually like a traumatic experience for him to have to play that part, which
I would imagine.
I get it. Yeah. Yes, you're an actor, you get paid, but it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to do a part like that.
No.
No. And unfortunately, we do get one sequence of animals in this, but we don't really get any like really good, But to your point too, when you're saying earlier that it was a gamble for them to go with a young actor with Elisa's character being played by a young actor because it's usually a better bet to have a dog in a movie than it is to have a kid.
Right. You're really not supposed to work with either.
Right.
If you follow certain advice, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a dog, it's like, I was trying to think, like, I mean, other than like those Air Bud movies, which are just kind of obnoxious, but like just a movie where there's just a dog just hanging around doing dog stuff, like it just makes the movie so much better.
Right, like Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
The dog's in the dryer.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's playing here in the theater in Philadelphia on the 18th. My wife and I are going to maybe go see it.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I don't remember if I saw it theatrically when it came out. I feel like I might have, but it might have also been like a free HBO weekend kind of deal too.
I definitely know. I saw it the day it opened.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Because in the newspaper there was Uncle Buck, and you got $1 off your movie ticket if you took it in.
Nice. I don't think in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, they did anything like that. It was like, you're lucky this movie's playing here. Just yeah.
So I think my friend's mom dropped us off at the mall, and we went and watched Uncle Buck.
Yeah, that's a nice deal. The mall and the movie theater are together. It's such a great combination. Here in Philly, they have like a mall in downtown that has the movie theater, but it's not really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like an old mall kind of thing, like I don't.
No, you can't pop into the old KB afterwards.
No.
There is no KB.
Right. Yes. Yeah. We had the movie theater near so we had two malls, and the old one was the Newington Mall, and it was almost empty at that time. I had like a Montgomery Ward's and a Bradley's, but it still had a Papa Gino's and a bookstore. So like you could go Papa Gino's. That's like a New England chain, a pizza restaurant chain. You could go and get like comic books and
Right.
eat at the Papa Gino's while you were waiting for your ride after the movie was done. It was I think I remember my friend and I, we saw Terminator 2. That's what we did. That's exactly what we did. It was you could have a really banner day back then.
Oh yeah, simpler times, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could technically still have that kind of day if I wanted to. Like in Philadelphia, there's comic book shops, there's pizza places, and there's movie theaters. Like I could do that myself.
Yeah, but you'd come home and you'd still have bills to pay.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd still have to. Yeah, bills to pay. I'd still have to work in the. Yeah, you're right. Because this would, I think Terminator 2 came out in the summer, right?
Probably. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would think maybe late May at the earliest.
Yeah, so it's like.
But I feel like it was probably like the 4th of July weekend movie, to be honest.
Yeah, because I was trying to remember. I don't think we had school back then. I think we were off for the summer, and so it was like, yeah, it wasn't like a, yeah, it was just like a Friday even maybe, where it was like a regular day during the week kind of thing, if I remember right. It's like, yeah, that's probably the one thing I don't really miss a lot about being a kid, because it is kind of nice being an adult and just being able to like have alcohol or Reese's peanut butter cups for dinner or whatever it is that you can do as an adult now that as a kid you were going to ruin your appetite, or you shouldn't be getting drunk at 10. But
right.
Yeah, right. Other things. But having 2.5 months off for the sake of having 2.5 months off, that just that seems like it could be a good thing.
You know what, I have in recent years, and will be continuing the tradition. Like again, I've not been in school for a long time. Right. But when you hit December,
yeah,
I still just naturally like, I'm done now. Right. I need a little time off, and I've past couple of years I've done it this year. December 19th is my last day of work for the year, and then I am off until the 5th of January.
Oh, that's a nice deal.
I cannot. I'm like, I got Christmas vacation again.
That's such a great deal. So this year, because Christmas is falling on a Thursday, I'll be able to take Christmas Eve and the Friday off. So I'll still have to work the 22nd and 23rd.
And I almost was going to do. I'm like, well, I could do the Monday, but I'm like, I had enough PTO. I said, you know what?
Just do
it. Let's go with it. Yeah. I'll have to suffer between now and then. I won't have any time to take off, but I don't care. I'll be all right.
Well, the funny thing is that there's people listening to us in other parts of the world who are like, wait, you have to use time off for Christmas? You don't just get the time off? And it's like, not in America. In America, you get Christmas Day and you get New Year's Day. And anything else,
I will say, we do get Christmas Eve.
You get Christmas Eve. Okay, for ours, we don't. One day I forget to take it off, and I worked, and it was like nobody else was working. I was just like, okay. So in a way, it was like maybe a smart thing to do, because it was like I had to be on my computer, but by the same token, there was like nothing to do, and I still got paid for it. So it's like, maybe I shouldn't. But the idea of having the time off, I think, is the best. So it's like what it's one of those things. Whenever because I used to work Christmas, I used to work in kitchens where I have to work on Christmas, and there's one of those feelings now when I don't have to do it, that I can just sort of just be in my pajamas all day. And
like part of me is like, well, I should be very productive during that time, but then there's also part of me that's like, I bet you I won't be.
Right, exactly. I mean,
I'm thinking like I could do all these things that I see every day around the house. Like, oh, I should fix that, or I can move this around and clean this. I think last year, like the first day of it, I was a dynamo doing all sorts of stuff. And then I'm like, I got plenty more time off. And the productivity went down significantly from that point forward.
Well, and I think the big thing that does it now is YouTube videos, because they're in like that 10 to 15 minute range. And so you could get an easy rabbit hole with those, or even just not even videos, but like IMDb rabbit holes, or,
all the time.
Yeah.
I might be watching Pack Blue all day. I don't know.
Exactly.
I certainly won't be through all 5 seasons of it by December.
Yes. Every time you mention Pack Blue, instantly in my head, the theme song gets in my head. Like,
Well, that's a good
some
one.
try to talk you down. Yeah, it's like just immediately in my head. It's like
It's just another day in LA, I'll tell you what.
exactly with the bike cops getting after it. What would be awesome? I'm not doing like a bad segue to get back to the movie, but Scott Adkins and I don't know about Marco Zaror though. Like somebody else with Scott Adkins doing like a Pack Blue movie.
Yeah.
And maybe too if like they did it in the vein of like the 21 Jump Street movie, where it's kind of goofy, but also you still got Scott Adkins beating the crap out of people with all his great martial arts and all of that.
Scott Adkins could be in like the Rick Rossovich role
Yes.
as the lieutenant.
Yes, yeah. That would be perfect.
And then have a bunch of youngsters.
Yeah.
And your boy Cam Diginet, as I call him, could be the villain in the movie.
Yes, he would be a perfect villain for that. Yeah. The only reason why I started calling him Gigande is I saw on IMDb it like this like the first piece of trivia was this is how to pronounce his name. So I was like, all right, well, I'll
No,
say with
that
the
has
plum.
to be right. Obviously, that's right. And
But Gigande, yeah,
you're a proper Frenchman, so
exactly. Yeah. Even though I could care less how people say my last name, so I'm like,
you're a proper Frenchman. So of course I'm just going to be stupid and say
yeah.
Diginet.
Well, that's what I always called it was Giginet, but
I don't even I call him Diginet just because I watch all those Diginet channels like Buzzer and everything all day.
Exactly.
I don't even care that it begins. It's not even beginning with a G in my world.
Yeah.
I just do what I want.
No, it's close enough. It's close enough with him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he would be a great baddie. With like a nicely tailored suit with no tie, maybe kind of thing.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He could play He could play slimy real good.
Yeah, he would be. People, whoever's listening out there, Michael Worth, if you're listening, can you try to get some people together for this, the Pack Blue movie?
Right. Maybe Chad Michael Collins could help out too.
Oh yeah, he would be great. Yeah, I mean,
maybe Louis Tan. He's really good. He's good.
He's got to be one of the next big action guys, right? I mean,
he's dreamy too when you really look at him.
Oh yes, yeah, no, for sure.
Super dreamy. He could be on that show.
Yeah, this has got to happen. People have got to make this happen. So, yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, with Diablo, I guess at this point, Adkins is driving away, and he stops. And he's going to give the young woman water, who's in the trunk. He's going to give Elisa water. She gets out. She hits him with a tire thing, and she runs off. Which is one of the things that's interesting about Adkins. I was listening. I think it was on the DTV Digest. They were saying how Adkins. I don't know if Adkins said this himself, where it's like he likes his characters to get hit and be, not invincible. And I think he was saying, like, in comparison, like Michael J. White is always invincible. Like nobody can beat him. And I was thinking about that one scene because that actually is how that would work. Michael J. White would just catch the tire rod.
Right.
But it would lose this whole moment that you get in the movie of her running away and him having to chase her and then having to explain to her, like, hey, I knew your mom. Your mom is paying me, or your mom not paying me. Your mom made me promise to come save you. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not kidnapping you. I'm actually rescuing you. And she's like, yeah, that's what a kidnapper would say. I don't really believe you.
Right. The worst fight in action movie history would probably be Michael J. White versus Steven Seagal.
Yeah, that's why they've never fought. They were in that movie together, Asian Connection, and they didn't do a single scene together in that movie.
Yeah, because neither would be able to land a punch, but neither would also want to miss the punch.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. Yeah,
it just wouldn't work.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it is funny because that's another area, like in that opening fight scene that Adkins' character has. He gets slashed with a machete. Yeah, he does take hits. Of course, that's another point too, because he obviously Michael J. White loses to Adkins in a lot of the movies because Adkins is more often the star in them. But like Accident Man, for example. But when Michael J. White's the hero, he definitely doesn't really take a lot of hits. He kind of just walks around and just beats the crap out of people, which is fun too. He's good at martial arts, so it looks nice on screen.
You could definitely see the Jean-Claude Van Damme influence that Adkins has, because Van Damme always got the crap kicked out of him. Yeah, in every one of his movies. So Adkins, he's a Van Damme guy,
Yeah.
and you can see that here.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah. And so, I mean, and of course, the two of them share what I think is maybe one of the greatest moments in cinematic history when Adkins in Expendables 2, when Adkins is holding the knife and Van Damme roundhouse kicks it into a Hemsworth. It's
Yeah.
such a beautiful scene.
Who doesn't want to roundhouse kick a Hemsworth?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, people talk about scenes, like, I could have been a contender, or, here's looking at you, kid, or whatever, Luke, I'm your father. It's
Right.
like, and I get it, we're going to need a bigger boat. There's some great scenes in movie history, but that, I don't know that it gets much better than that,
And I'm glad you brought up Luke, I am your father, because we do get a situation like that in this film.
We do. It's like one of those things where, to start with, he's just saying, "I know your mother."
Right.
He agrees to let her. She agrees to let him take her if she gets to have a gun, which he doesn't realize she's actually going to try to use on him. Which he, in the car, starts shooting the dry firing it at him because it's unloaded. So he takes it. He's angry. But then later they're in a diner and she's eating, and he's like, "Yeah, by the no, it's in the back of the car, right? Oh, it's he she tries to escape and he grabs her,
He
and
has to finally
yeah,
tell her.
like,
He hasn't been full. He hasn't put all the cards on the table, and then he realizes I'm gonna have to because she is not cooperating. Maybe this will get her to cooperate.
exactly. Which again, just kind of out of nowhere, it's like, I can't even imagine what, to be 17 and be like, oh hey, that person that you thought was your dad actually isn't your dad. I'm your dad, actually. It'd be like, yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. And again, I think she does a good job as an actor, kind of just navigating as best as she can, because it is kind of a lot to throw at a person.
Right, and she reacts the way you would think you would react. I mean, if you had somebody who raised you and gave you this life that she enjoys her life.
Yeah.
She's got a good life. She's got a fancy house. She likes her school. She likes her friends, as she says. Why should I mean, okay, maybe you are my biological father, but you're not the one who's raised me for my whole life, 17 years. So
and then she finds out that he wants to bring her to America to stay with her aunt that she's barely seen, and she's like, why do I want to do that? Like, again, I get it, like, yeah, who wants, I mean, I'm my aunts are cool, or but still, like, yeah, and if I'm living this great life, do I want to live with some aunt in America? Like, that doesn't sound like a fun time.
Right, yeah, she's not living in an alley, and it's like, what?
Right.
My aunt will let me live in an actual house and I can eat?
Right.
Well, hell yeah. Well, when can we leave? No, she's like, I'm living my best life right now.
Exactly.
Who knows what could be waiting for me in America?
Yeah. But now the thing is, Adkins thinks he's got this locked. He thinks she's agreeing to this and she's okay. So they go to get gas, and there's some guys kicking a soccer ball around, and he's like, hey, I'm going to pump this gas. Don't do anything. And, that's pretty much what happens. She doesn't do anything, scenes end, and it's okay. Or, right, she rolls down the window and says, help, I'm being kidnapped. And these guys show up and they're like, oh, hey, you're kidnapping her? And he's like, do you guys speak English? And of course they don't. And then, he beats the crap out of them. But it's kind of funny because he's like beating the crap out of them in stages. He's like, okay, I'm going to beat the crap out of you so much. Now are you guys going to stop? And they're like, no, we're not going to stop. You have to keep beating the crap out of us. And so he's got people in the chokehold. He's throwing people around. He's threatening to break arms, but he's not doing it. And eventually he just decides, you know what, I've had enough. And he starts smashing this guy's head into the back of a car, and they decide to give up.
Yeah, it definitely became one of the world's most dangerous gas stations for those gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to think if we had any other. I mean, I guess the diner that they go and eat in after, that could be a most dangerous as well. But it's kind of not so bad. No. So what happens is she calls her dad from a payphone that they have there, and then Adkins takes her away before she can say too much. But they get a sense of where she might be, and one of the local gangs has caught on to where they are, and they meet them at the diner where they're eating. And so they show up, and we get a really great line when they're at the diner, right? Because he says. The guy has Adkins at gunpoint while some of his other henchmen are hanging around, and he tells Elisa, "Tell him the safety's on." And she does, and classic, oh, let me look at the gun, and he beats the crap out of him. I like the translator aspect of the safety's on trope.
Yeah, I mean, you take advantage of your surroundings there, and they certainly did there, and the language barrier, and yeah, good job, movie.
Right, and I mean the fight scene that they get there, we get a little PM action, right, where Atkins kicks somebody through a
Oh,
glass window,
right
which
through
is
the
beautiful.
glass. Oh yeah, I was having video store flashbacks when I saw that glass break.
Yes, yeah. What was that at Rage, right? Where,
Rage,
oh,
absolutely.
yeah, I was gonna
World's
say
most dangerous video stores.
yes, or the most dangerous chicken places, right? Is that where Repo Jake throws the guy through?
Oh, don't
I
remind me
was gonna
about Repo
say,
Jake, please.
yes. I was gonna say when we first talked about breaking through glass, I didn't think you were gonna be thinking of Repo Jake.
Those
Yeah,
penny loafers.
right. Oh yeah. Anybody who hasn't seen Repo Jake, yeah, look at the shoes that he's wearing.
Women just falling in love with him for no apparent reason.
Yes, right. The poor woman that I guess she wanted to be an actor, and now she's like meeting Repo Jake, and she's making him pasta, which doesn't taste good apparently, right? It wasn't good pasta that she made him, but
How can you screw up pasta?
that was the whole idea, right? Was that you know, she needed to settle down with some guy and learn how to make real pasta, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I'm sure Repo Jake is just the man
exactly.
to teach you.
Right. Exactly. The best is him driving around the car. This idea that we're supposed to believe that he's an IndyCar driver when he's like barely, like he's like just dwarfing the car while he's inside of it.
Right.
So,
His knees would be up to his ears.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how tall Al Unser Jr. Or Senior were, but I don't think they were Dan Haggerty size. Like, I don't think they were like,
And he's a thick man, too. He's
exactly.
thick.
Right.
THICC, I believe. I don't
Exactly.
know.
I think that's how the kids spell it. Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, I apologize. I put us on that track with the glass breaking because I really, like you said, I should have been thinking. I mean, another movie actually that had some good glass breaking like that was Kickboxer 4: The Aggressor. So where that the bar scene with Sasha Mitchell.
Another winner of a film. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Better than Repo Jake, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw that one on Spike and I loved it. And I think ever since every time I watch it after that, I'm like, okay, I like that it's like a dark kickboxer kind of thing, but I'm kind of also like, man, there's stuff that happens in that movie. You know, you have dead people that wake up in
Yeah.
sequences. You have, stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. And Tong Po's not Tong Po.
No. But, it has that threesome scene in it for no apparent reason,
Right, exactly.
which you probably didn't get on the Spike channel, or at least not a full
No,
blown version of it.
no, I think they did the old Amazon cut to commercial thing. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bastards.
Exactly. Though I think I did get the full effect of Tom Matthews getting the knife between the eyes.
That's all you really need.
Yeah, the dinner steak knife.
Mhm.
That I mean, I don't know about you, but usually when I'm at like eating a steak at a restaurant or something, the knife is barely able to cut the steak. Usually, even if it's like nicely cooked and everything, it's still
Right, you got to work at it.
yeah. But apparently, if you throw it fast, hard enough, and at the right angle, you can embed it right between somebody's eyes.
I don't think I'm going to try it, but yeah, it's dangerous.
It's a scary place.
World's most dangerous dinner banquets. I don't know.
Exactly. I love that it's all set up there for that final fight scene too, where he's just like Sasha Mitchell's just like throwing him across, just like
Yeah, they're just ready. They had a 3 to 5 coming in, and
exactly.
they just had it set up.
Right. Tong Po was catering on the side. That would
He had they did corporate events there at the Tong Po Villa, and
that would have been great if it's just like all these old people.
the car salesmen were coming in from
Exactly.
the seminar.
Right, the Palm Springs Car Dealers Association were there. They show up and they see like this like murderous like kumite thing going on, and they're just like turn around and head right back out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't pay for this. But so while they're escaping, so they get captured. So she gets taken by this other gang. Adkins kind of he beats the crap out of one guy to get information on where they're being held. But while that's happening,
Yeah, with that fire extinguisher, that was the one thing. He's like talk, and he's smashing the fire extinguisher in the guy's mouth. It's like that's gonna make it more difficult.
yeah.
For you.
No, it's like, anybody who's had relatives that have dentures, when those dentures are out, they don't talk well.
And spitting out teeth. Yeah,
Right.
it was gruesome.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. It was like that movie Irreversible, I remember, where a character gets beaten to death with uh, a fire extinguisher towards the end of the movie. I think it was the beginning of it. I can't remember, but yeah,
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So that movie is the one my friend saw that in the theater. There's like a scene where Monica Bellucci's character is raped, and it's like very graphic. And he said like people were walking out of the movie theater. I remember I watched it in my apartment, and I had to like mute it because it was like people are going to think I'm, they're not going to know what to think next door. It's like,
Right.
yeah. So anybody out there listening, if you ever want to watch Irreversible, watch it with headphones. Don't, yeah. Um, but that was what I thought of when I saw him beating that guy with the fire extinguisher. And I was wondering if he was going to do it, but it was like, those characters do not give up the goods without getting smashed in the face. So the moment he threatened the fire extinguisher, you knew he was going to have to use it because that guy wasn't just going to tell him anything.
Right.
No. But we get the twist in the story here because when they find out that when Vicente finds out that his daughter is with these other guys, there's a point where his henchman calls Zaror, and we find out that we don't know what exactly he owes Zaror, but he owes Zaror something, and this is like maybe payback, right? He says like, does this mean we're even? He's like, does it? I don't know if it means we're even. I guess we'll see.
Right.
But this means we've now got Zaror in the fray, and that's going to come together in the most spectacular way because the Elisa's in the baddies layer, or this gang's lair. It's like a bar where there's like women in shiny dresses and guys breaking glasses and all that kind of thing. The kind of the classic saloon kind of deal. And right. Elisa's upstairs with the head honcho guy. They've called her dad. The dad's going to come get her, all that stuff. And we think everything's going to be fine until we start hearing gunshots. And it's Zaror, and he's just walking through the place, just like blowing people away, beating the crap out of people, just using whatever he can for weapons. It is an absolute amazing sequence.
Yeah, this is, if you weren't sold on the movie up to this point, this would sell you because it's just a great scene, and Zaror steals the movie. Just that bald head of his stole the movie for me. It's like I will never not remember him looking that way and just being freaking. If he didn't do anything, like if he didn't kill anyone, just I don't know that way, that shaved head or that male pattern baldness head he had. Terrifying.
Yeah, because he, like you said, he's not bald. He's got the horseshoe thing going on.
Right, he's like Mean Gene Okerlund. What's going on?
Without the mustache and the goofiness, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they got the glasses as well. He definitely he could like double for like somebody hanging out with like Kurtwood Smith and right. like Kurtwood Smith's friend on That 70s Show, showing up to like hang out with him and have beers or something. Yeah. But it is, and it's like, this is just this, I think it's a big showcase of, I don't know if it's Chilean or just, pan, South African, or not South African, South American stunt workers. But they've just like, because they've got a lot of, South American stunt talent in the movie. I don't know if it's all Chilean or if it's, other parts of right. South America as well. But they kind of culminate in this one scene where there's just like waves of stunt people just kind of coming at both men and women. And he's just like left and right, just like smashing them, shooting them. There's one guy who's reaching for a gun. He just blows his head off. It's just absolute beautiful stuff.
The black coat also kind of gave him a Ronald Lacey in Raiders of the Lost Ark look.
Yes.
Who also had the bald, was balding. And right. Like, he's like, if Ronald Tote was a martial artist and not just a guy with a medallion burned into his hand.
Right. Yeah. Again, I think to your point, like this is more stuff where he's kind of borrowing from, or he's sort of, giving us things from other movies. He's showing his when I say him, I mean Espinosa. That he's showing us his influences. So we think all hope is lost, right? We think Zaror is going to get the girl. And first off, she does something we weren't expecting. She takes like some, I don't know, what's a
It was a
statue?
statue, yeah.
Yeah, and hits him in the back of the head. Classic, movie deal. Just knock somebody out, not hitting him in the back of the head. Fortunately for him, later on, he doesn't have any brain damage from that, like most people would have. But he's going to be okay. But now, so she's kind of out on her own, and then Adkins shows up, and he starts fighting Zaror. And there's kind of this thing between the two of them when it starts, as like, oh hey, you're actually pretty good. Like both of them are used to being the person who can take everybody out. And it's kind of a cool moment where they're both like, hey, this guy might actually be able to take me if I'm not on my game.
Yeah, a bit of respect there was formed. And like Adkins has no idea who this guy is, why he's here.
Right.
And the same could be said for Zaror. Like, what do you care about this? Are you trying to get the money for this girl, or are you the kidnap? He doesn't know.
Yeah. And so they're kind of knock them down, drag them out kind of deal, where they're just kind of going back and forth at each other. It's close, where I think Zaror gets the upper hand to start with, and then he kind of knocks Adkins out, and then they kind of go out into this courtyard area. Oh, right. Before they go to the courtyard area, the main boss guy who Elisa had just knocked out. He comes down with this big machine gun, and he starts like just firing indiscriminate all over the place. Adkins has to jump out a window, so we get a little more PM style, right? Because he's just jumping through a window. Zaror takes cover, but then like the gun jams, and Zaror just goes and slashes his throat. He doesn't even mess around. He's just like takes off his hand, shows his knife, and then that's it. But at the same time, Adkins is able to get Elisa, and they escape.
For now.
Right, exactly. They go to some little market area, get some clothes. They start talking some more. She has a moment where she's listening to a band play, and they're playing a song that she recognizes.
She was like this. Right. Direct to video connoisseur, but it was in Spanish.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would say it. Directo, video. I think video is the same, right? Is it video? I don't know. Yeah, that one might be the same, but yeah, connoisseur probably is similar too, right? Because it's French. It's probably
right.
Yeah, it might be,
just like Diginet.
Right, exactly. Yes, yeah. So yeah, but they have but that causes a moment because Adkins is like, "Oh, I know your mom loved that song," and then we get Chekhov's diamond necklace.
Yes.
And this is going to play a part later in the movie, but they talk about the diamond necklace, and he says, "Hey, your mother, she's strong as diamonds, and that's why I got her this diamond necklace. Not because she wanted something really expensive, but because it's supposed to represent that."
Beautiful. Yeah, and we get a background that Vicente and Adkins, Cheney, and her mother were in cahoots. They were robbing people.
And I guess, were they robbing people in Colombia, I guess? And so...
I suppose so, yeah.
Didn't we explain exactly how Adkins got there, other than he says he used to get punched in the face for a living, so I guess that means he was a fighter at some point. But beyond that, yeah, we just get the sense that they were committing crimes, and then, Adkins tells her, we found out, your mother found out she was pregnant with you. I needed money because I was living paycheck to paycheck. I guess is that what it would be if you're robbing your paycheck, robbery to robbery, I guess. But Vicente comes up with this great score that's going to get them all a lot of money, but he uses it to frame Adkins, and he gets put away for 15 years, which, I mean, if it was 15 years in a Colombian prison, but I guess if he had to cross the border to Colombia, it must have been somewhere else.
Yeah,
right?
Probably was somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they extradited him to wherever he committed the crime.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he had to cross the border back. But yeah, and he tells her, I think your dad I think Vicente kills your mom. And she's like, no, I can believe some other stuff, but that just doesn't sound, it's almost like he had her, but then he lost it, with that.
Yeah. He went a step too far. Like she was starting to process this, and I can believe everything. And then because again, to her, that's dad. That's the man who's given her everything in her life. Why would he? And they were in love as far as she knew.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, both of them kept a lot from her. They did a good job of keeping it from, they kept up appearances, as they say. Yeah. Now, Marco Zaror at the same time, he's cleaning out his glasses in a sink full of water, and he's stitching up his head.
Mm,
So while that song's playing, all that stuff's happening, Marco Zaror is just calmly stitching a gash in his head.
huge gash.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like it looks like he's using like an old shoelace to stitch it with. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, he gets done with all of that and realizes, hey, I need a set of wheels. And there's a guy sitting in the parking lot who's giving his woman his I don't know if it's his girlfriend or what that a hard time about getting him some liquor. And Zaror's like, hey, I need your car. And the guy's like, what? And of course that guy does the same thing that earlier in the movie we already learned is not a smart thing to do. You don't get out of your car. I think
No.
yeah. Everybody listening to this here, don't get out of your car. I know as a kid we learned you don't get out of your car when there's an electrical wire on the ground. That's
Yeah, G.I. Joe taught us that.
exactly. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I think it was that. And then in school we watched some video where like some guy was out. This woman in the car, and the guy was like, "Don't get out of your car," but then he got electrocuted. And I was like, "Oh, so we actually saw somebody die in one of these videos. That's interesting."
Which, of course, goes back to my story about the driver's ed movie I watched, where Tommy from Alice was, where we learned not to tailgate trucks because you could chop your head off.
That's right.
Because that was before they had the gimmicks on the back of the truck to prevent that.
Yeah.
People could just, if they weren't paying attention, just drive right under the trailer and chop their head off.
Their heads chopped off. Yeah. So there are a lot of ways to die driving. And of course the easiest way to die driving is just to, before cell phones, it would be just like not paying attention and, but they would come up with all of these things in these movies. Yeah. So in this case, I think if any video for kids nowadays, it would be Marco Zaror telling them, "Don't get out of your car if you're being accosted."
Yeah.
And Marco Zaror proves it again. I mean, it's pretty grisly. Like he bites part of the guy's cheek off, I think, or something like that. He at least bites him, and then he kills them both, right? I think or he gets a gun and he gets a shotgun or something. I can't remember exactly. I mean, he was, beating the crap out of him, doing all of that stuff. It's just more Marco Zaror's character being diabolical.
Yeah, he gets worse every time he appears on screen.
Yeah,
creepier, more evil. It just escalates constantly.
Yeah, the sense of impending doom with him is just it's kind of like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. It's it's that kind of thing. Which I never thought I'd be saying Marco Zaror and Javier Bardem in the same, because I think Javier Bardem, did he win an Oscar for that role?
I think Marco Zaror is going to win an Oscar for this role. Good call.
Yes. Yeah. Can you imagine that if this got Oscar, like if like it was that kind of thing where it's like it's being played with like the other Oscar movies,
For your consideration, Marco Zaror as El Corvo.
Yes, I would want to see him, his massive frame in a tux at the Oscars. Like I haven't watched the Oscars in decades. I don't remember the last time
I would tune in for this one.
Yeah, if Zaror got nominated, I would watch. I would want to see what happens.
Yeah, you would think they would just do that, to get the ratings up. Like, just pick one. Like, okay, get a horror movie person, get an action movie person, get a superhero movie. They're not going to win.
Yeah,
we'll fix it so they don't win. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always said that about 2010 with JCVD. I was like, oh, Van Damme, he should have been nominated, which I ended up watching all the best leading actor nominees that year. And I was like, actually, no, they were all better than JCVD. And, but still, it was like the idea of it. I was like, oh, but you're right. Like that would get like us genre fans to watch more often, because
you'd be watching and everybody would be talking about it on social media.
Yeah, everybody like, who's this Marco Zaror guy? And then it'd be like, oh, he was in John Wick, he was in Machete, he was in these other movies. Like, yeah, he's a big deal. I'd like to see him get into some Marvel movies and stuff like that too, because he just would be, between the imposingness and all the other stuff, he's just so great.
Yeah.
So now at this point, so Adkins is he's. What I'm trying to think. Oh, they're trying to hotwire a truck, right? Is that what they're doing? Yeah. And I'm trying to remember. I think what happens is she escapes, right? Does she escape with the truck? And Oh, he goes out of the car to like talk to some guy.
Because there's some guys, yeah,
Yeah,
and so he goes to confront them, and she's like, "Oh, this is my opening."
yeah,
Because to your point, if he hadn't mentioned the "your dad killed your mom" thing, she probably wouldn't have been so like. But now she's like, "This guy, he's crazy.
yeah.
I'm getting the hell away from him."
Right. Well, because
But
there was
it
also
just gets her in deeper, obviously.
well, that and there's also the threat of I'm going to take you to your aunt's in America, which I think she
Right.
still was not a fan of. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she escapes, and then we see these flashing lights from behind Adkins, and it's like, what is that? The cops? What's going on there? No, it's the goofy car that Zaror stole. Has all these flashing lights around it, and he drives past Adkins, and Adkins is like, I think that was Zaror. I think I've got to go after him and chase him. And so he goes. He's chasing. Zaror's chasing her. He gets her because she's out of the car. And he's like going after her. She's kind of screaming for Adkins. And then we get the Mexicans, or I don't know if it was a Mexican standoff. It was just more of just a standoff. But funny thing, right, is this is actually kind of reminiscent of when I was on the Bulletproof Pod last when we were doing Cyberjack, right, where Dudikoff is there and Brian James has his partner at gunpoint, and it's like, oh, what are you going to do? And we get a similar situation where he's Zaror's got Elisa at the end of his shotgun, and Adkins has got a gun on him, and Zaror's like, if you shoot me, my muscles will tense, and I'll shoot her.
Yep.
And he's like, well, do you want to try it? Do you want to see if that's actually how it works? And he's like, listen, I'm just going to shoot her anyway if you don't do something right now. He's like, okay, I'm putting the gun down. And then it's kind of one of those things where Adkins gets beaten up. He does explain a little bit like, oh yeah, I'm her dad. I was, all this, what she's there for. But he gets knocked out, and he wakes up hanging from a tree with a tire underneath him. And that's when Vicente finds him.
Yes, and then shortly, that's when Vicente realizes that his right-hand man called in El Corvo. Yes. And Vicente knows full well that once you turn El Corvo's on switch on, it doesn't go to off until he feels he's done doing whatever it is he was told to do. I mean, he's basically practically like the Terminator at this. Like, he just has to complete his mission.
Yeah, it's like in Point Break, right? When Patrick Swayze's, Bodie's telling Johnny Utah, like, hey, they've got Tyler. Listen, I'm not really a fan of violence, but Rosie, he's like a mechanism. Once you set him in motion, that's it, and that's it. Rosie had Tyler, and it's like, okay, you better go save her from Tyler. Yeah, I would say Zaror's more is better. I mean, Rosie was played by the guy who was the brother on the Weird Science TV show, I think, right? Was that the actor?
I don't.
That might be a deep.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, the one who was played by Bill Paxton in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was Rosie.
At first, yeah. I just want to thank you. I feel like having 2 meatball sandwiches now, and it's a little bit too late for that kind of food.
Yes. Yeah. So you say it's too late. I mean, I know it's too late from a gastronomical standpoint, if that's the or from a gastronomy standpoint. No, that's still food, isn't it? I'm thinking like from a gastrointestinal standpoint.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but here in Philadelphia, you can get a meatball sandwich 24 hours a day.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Just because you can do something, doesn't mean you should.
No, I think it's like what Woody Allen said about New York, where he's like, I don't need Chinese food at 3 a.m, but I like knowing I can get it at 3 a.m. And maybe that's the idea, right? It's not,
I'm very glad we've quoted Woody Allen on this podcast.
Exactly. Well, I remember was it my brother? Who was I talking to about the fact that you can get cheesesteaks 24 hours a day here in Philadelphia? I think it might have been him. He was like,
so. That's the whole reason people go to Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah. That there's places that, and it's just, there's a place near us called Oregon Steaks, and they don't make the best cheesesteak, but if you've been drinking all night, like if it's like 1 or 2 a.m, you've really been drinking, they make the best, like, I've been making bad decisions cheesesteak, and I just need to make another. I just need to compound the bad. It's like a sunk cost kind of cheesesteak where, it's just like, What's the point of trying now?
Right. If I'm going to throw up later, I may as well throw up a cheesesteak.
Right, exactly. It's like why not just go all the way and just completely destroy myself? Yeah, I
Yeah.
just it like at 1 o'clock in the morning after having some beers, it is the best one of those cheesesteaks. It's I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know why theirs is better for that than other places, but it is. It's just yeah. So if you're in Philly and you're out drinking, yeah, get an Uber to Oregon Steaks and get your cheesesteak there because yeah, it'll do you better. And there's usually a good police presence there. Police officers get their cheesesteaks there, so you don't
Oh,
have to worry
very
about any
good.
crime in the area.
Yeah, not like that diner that El Corvo was eating cake at, or
Right,
little
exactly.
cafe, whatever it was,
Yes.
coffee shop.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's a bad neighborhood. Don't go there. Go to Oregon.
go to Oregon. Yeah, Oregon Ave in Philadelphia. Exactly. Yeah, it's not going to look nice. I've walked home from some baseball games there and been like, man, maybe I shouldn't have walked home. This isn't.
Mm.
But the Oregon Steaks area, yeah, the police officers get their steaks there, so you can feel safe at least getting your Uber there and then getting it home. Yeah. But yeah, so while Adkins is hanging there, they decide to cut him down. But they let him hang for a little bit first, right? Vicente lets him hang for a bit first, and then he takes him in the car, and they start talking. They're kind of going back and forth, and Vicente's like, "Hey, it's the whole thing. We were robbers, and I was stealing everything. So I stole everything from you. It's all in the
Right.
game."
Did you expect there to be honor among thieves?
Right, exactly. Yeah, good old classic line. And then Zaror calls and he says, "Hey, you're just a heads up. Your number one henchman is the one who told me where your daughter was." And so Vicente doesn't think about asking him about it. Again, Vicente's not about like feedback, or professional development in his gang. He just immediately paints the windshield with the guy's brains.
Oh, I mean, and there's chunks on that windshield. I mean, that was a very graphic scene. Like, yeah, there is some brain matter
Yes.
just fused to the windshield. Oh,
Right. You see a little white. When you see the
yeah.
white, it's just like, oh, yeah, yeah. That definitely not the movie. You shouldn't be watching that scene after you've had your beers and your cheesesteak.
Or your
Or
meatballs.
yeah, meatballs of
Yeah,
any of those.
that would look like some of them with the mozzarella
Oh yes, yeah, exactly.
and the sauce.
Oh yeah. Don't yeah, not a good yeah. So they when they get to the plant, so they're, the final scene happens is this big massive plant that has like this thing that I think it grinds rocks, right? Is that what it's supposed to
I would
do?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it like some sort of yeah, I don't. Was it like a quarry of some kind or some sort of mine?
Yeah.
Something where they were, yeah, the big, long, big conveyor belt.
Yeah, and it has like a chain that goes up through it. And so what's happened is Marco Zaror wants a little bit of symbolism in this death here, because the deal is that we find out from Vicente that Marco Zaror's character was hired to do a job for him, and then they wanted to kill him after because he went too far on the job. So they wanted to kill him. So they shot him with a tranquilizer. They had 15 guys holding him because Vicente wanted to be the one to personally kill him. So that's why they left him alive. But in the process, because they only handcuffed one of his arms, he cut off his hand at the wrist so he could escape, and that's why he's got the fake arm now because of that. But his plan now is that he's now got the girl. He's got Elisa chained by one arm. And the decision that she has to make when Vicente gets there is, or they have to make, is they either cut her wrist off or she gets crushed in this like quarry crushing machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, on the shackle, like he welded it so that you
right.
can't even like pick the lock or try to. There's only one way to get that thing off, and that is to cut her freaking whole hand off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they've got the decision to make. Now it is a little bit like what was it, Austin Powers, where the guy's got the steamroller, and it's like this really long. And he's like, no, they keep you. It's kind of like that because she spends a long time on this conveyor belt.
Yeah,
but we can excuse it because we get such a sweet fight scene between Adkins and Zaror, something that's been teased up to this point, where the two of them have been going at it, 2 or 3 times at this point. We get the big finale with those two, and they really get after it.
Yeah, like probably the worst spot you'd want to put some commercials in. But yeah, we get the big fight, and you also get, well, it cuts back because you see Vicente like desperately, he's like pushing buttons and he's trying to stop the conveyor belt. I did wonder, like he was trying to pull like the wires, but he had like why didn't he try to like saw the wires?
I thought the same thing. He's like
cut the wires. Like that should do it. Yeah. You would think.
Yeah, because no matter how he's got the thing rigged, if there's no power going to it, it can't work.
No power, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he was in a panic, so you could also understand, like, okay, you're not thinking straight. You're trying to you're desperate. You're grasping at straws and trying to save your daughter. Again, as we pointed out from the beginning, most important person in the world to him.
Yeah.
Even though he knew that wasn't his daughter biologically, but he just liked being a dad. And yeah, that's why he did have, spoiler alert, he has to admit it to her. He had to stop her mother from taking her away.
Yeah, because he makes her. Zaror makes him admit it to her. Later on. Yeah. So now you mentioned that commercial, the Amazon commercial. So I had watched the movie and then I had to stop it for a bit and come back to it. And I guess it reset the commercial thing for Amazon, because usually it's just they do commercials at the beginning and then they call it good. So when they're fighting, there's that moment where I think Adkins like throws dirt in Zaror's face.
Yeah.
And right as he does that, boom.
It's set that way because I paused it. Again, I paused it at about 35 minutes, and you could see where the commercial break is.
Oh, okay. So it was always going to be
it there. Was right there towards the end. I'm like, because that's what I thought. Well, maybe you did something where it like prolonged where the commercial came in. No, they just they're like, well, you're gonna sit through these commercials because you're gonna want to see how this ends.
Right.
If you've made it that far in,
that's
which
it.
I guess is smart for that purpose, but yeah, that kind of.
No, it was. I mean, because it was a good 3 minutes. So it was or like 4 minutes, something like that.
Break. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, we got
pay that $3 so you don't get those.
I know.
That's the other thing they want.
Exactly. They want So yeah. And the thing is, like, Amazon's not as bad as some of the other ones, but it's that one got me there. But anyway, we got through it, and I got to see we went through the fight. I mean, the choreographing, the way those scenes are choreographed between those two, and I think this is one of the things about Adkins that makes him so great, and I think Zaror is in that category as well. Is that one, they're good with their characters taking hits, right? They're like, yeah, go ahead, and But the other thing is they do these moments where it's like multiple sequences done together, where it's like you've got these longer shots. And it's not a lot of quick edits or a couple punches here or there. It's like multiple moves being done each sequence.
Yeah, I mean, they're two of the best going right now. They may be two of the best ever as far as just the pure fighting and the choreography. I mean, they're like, practically ballet dancers, the way they pull off these moves. It's beautiful. It's an art form in and of itself.
Yeah, and to see them kind of at the top of their craft, just going for it. Like, I mean, I guess they did it in Savage Dog as well. They fought in Savage Dog, but it wasn't quite at this level in Savage Dog. Yeah, so I mean, and it's almost one of those things where you're like, I was trying to think of another movie like that where it's like you almost don't want the fight scene to end because it's just like you just want it to keep going because it's so good, between the two of them. But at some point they have to kind of call it, and really, I think Zaror gets the upper hand on Adkins, and I think it's another area where Adkins, I think he's good with like being the hero even if he has to lose. And they've kind of established that Zaror's the better fighter, and that Adkins really can't beat him, but he's inspired by his the woman he loves being killed. Zaror starts going over the details like, oh, I was supposed to make it look like a suicide, but actually I got a little carried away, and that's why Vicente got mad at me because you couldn't call it a suicide after what I did to her. and so Adkins is really going for it, and he's going, but eventually, he kind of, he gets kind of knocked down. Zaror, they're also kind of running up the stairs, because I think Adkins wants to try to save her at the same time.
Right.
And Vicente's like going around wondering like, well, maybe I should jump in to this thing because it might block it and stop her, but
Right.
he doesn't do it. The saw is there. I think even Elisa kind of thinks about maybe cutting off her own hand to get out of it, and we're kind of just watching all this stuff, like wondering how it's going to play out.
Yeah, great tension build up. It's just perfectly built up, and again, that's why those Amazon bastards put that commercial right there, because there was no way you're gonna be like, oh, screw this, I'm done. No, you're gonna sit through the commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't remember what they were selling at this point, which is, I guess, is the other thing. So this kind of like two things there with that, right? Because it's like when I saw Iggy Pop in concert in Boston, he was so good I forgot who the opening act was. And in fact, I forgot that there was an opening act. And I remember my friends and I saying how bad the opening act was, but he was that good. This fight scene is so good that I don't even remember any of the products that were being sold in that 3-minute commercial break.
Either.
So Amazon, your gambit didn't pay off. You should be putting that after the diner scene or something like that, when I'm kind of coming off of a high.
Right. Yeah. And for me, when it's like, if it says 3 minutes, which, like I'll leave the room.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could go real quick.
Right. Yeah.
Throw this away, or put this away, or do this or do that. Or I'll just look at my phone for, okay, well, let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll send somebody a message that says, a commercial at the middle of the final fight.
This is exactly what I did. Yes.
Which is exactly what I did back to you. So there.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, so when you messaged me,
it was the commercials were live, pal.
Oh,
they were going.
Yeah. I thought you were messaging because you misread what I had said before. When I said the commercials were,
no, I was just being a smart ass.
Okay, yes, perfect. All right, excellent. Yeah, sometimes that's the thing with Instagram messaging. So you the joke, you're like, oh yeah, that's it, So sometimes
I should have probably said, finally, a commercial in the middle of the final fight.
No.
Maybe then you would have known it was a joke.
No, it actually makes more sense the way you did it. Instead of me thinking like, oh, you just missed it. You missed it. I wrote it the first time.
No.
Yeah.
I'll confess, everyone out there, I was being a smart ass.
Exactly. No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
It's very rare that I do such a thing, but I thought I would try it out today, and it really worked out well for me.
No, I think that it's definitely. Usually I get. I still thought it was funny. I just didn't get it the same way. I guess it was so. So yeah. But yeah. So we're at the point where, okay. So Vicente has admitted to Elisa that yes, he hired Corvo. He hired Zaror to kill her mother. So he's admitted that. And then it's looking like all hope is lost. Corvo says to Vicente, yeah, you could turn this thing off, but it's kind of too late now because you're not going to make it downstairs in time to where the switch is, because all of these other switches don't work. So that's when Adkins is going in. He's kind of fighting. He gets stabbed in the stomach with the knife part of the hand. And so he's kind of out of commission, but he says to Elisa, the diamonds, the necklace, And so she pulls off the necklace and she throws it into the shredder kind of thing. And I guess what it does is the sharpness of the diamonds when they're being crushed, it causes it to break the chain.
Yeah, I think the pressure of the diamonds, must have cut the chain, because then the chain snaps and she's free.
Yeah. So at that point, then Zaror's like, well, if the chain's not going to work, I'll just drag her into it. That's, right. That'll work. That's where Vicente kind of gets him, and they're kind of tussling around, and then they both fall from this big part of the thing there. So we get a pretty good sequence here from Sun People again. The way that they're falling off of that.
Double railing death.
Yeah. It's a great ending to this kind of thing. I think from a scene standpoint, I think for us, martial arts is always a good way to end a fight. But I think from a stunt standpoint, if this is really supposed to be a showcase for stunt workers in South America, like, it doesn't get better than like falling off from a big, height like that.
Right, the big fall. Yeah. Yeah.
So then we're left with a cliffhanger. And I forgot to tell everybody that we're going to have spoilers in here. So you're going to, it would be kind of funny, right? If, because so what happens is Adkins is there. He's like holding his stomach. He looks like
he could be dead.
Right. Yeah.
He could be. And honestly, if that's how it ended, you could be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that would have been harsh about it, if that's how it ended, was she just found out he's her father, right, and now he's dead. It's like, boy, that's kind of a rough way to go. but they kind of leave you in suspense. They leave you in suspense, and then there he is at the cemetery with her when she's putting flowers on her mother's grave.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now,
Presumably ready to go off to America.
yeah. Well,
they were saying goodbye and heading to America.
At least that's what we think. That's where they're going somewhere. But the door is left open, right?
Oh, yes, it is.
so
oh boy, is it?
Yes. So we get the drone shot above where there should be two figures lying dead. We see Vicente there, but we just see a big red stain.
There's El Corvo.
Yes. So
he's coming back.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's got a lot of stitching to do before he can. So maybe it's going to be a year or two.
All stitched up.
Yeah.
By like the fourth or fifth movie, he'll look like Maniac Cop.
Exactly. Yeah. Jigsaw for the Punisher. Where we're sort of, yes, exactly.
He's going to look awful, but man, again, I mean, that's perfect. Like you could, like they don't even have to bring Adkins back. There could just be an El Corvo movie.
Oh, I agree.
Where he's a freaking serial killer. You could make a horror movie spinoff.
Yeah.
He could be the first, like, it started as an action franchise, and now it's a horror franchise.
You know what you could do even that would be interesting is instead of having, with it being like Adkins versus Zaror the whole time, or like also like Adkins is the hero up against different people, you could do like a rotating group of action stars that have to fight Zaror. Like maybe like Amy Johnston in one of them. Louis Tan we were just talking about earlier, right? There's one where
he's dreamy, isn't he?
Yes, he is the best. He's got to be one of the next great action stars. So have him fight Zaror. He
deserves it. I mean, I would say this at least 3 times every time I mention it.
Yes, exactly. And so I mean, exactly like that could be an interesting idea that it's Zaror is the main guy, and yes, there would be this whole thing of him like dying but not dying, but it could be like this slasher action franchise. I mean, Espinosa as the director, right? I mean, it could be his thing. But just fly Louis Tan down to Chile or something. Fly Amy. I think Amy Johnson could be an interesting one. Because I'm trying to think of other women action stars out there that would be. Olga Kurylenko maybe could be an interesting one. Yeah.
I mean, they could do that, or again, we could just pick right up. We could have Alyssa is at her aunt's now. And maybe dad is there too, obviously, as they're trying to build a relationship that they missed out on. And suddenly, no one would expect it. Again, they figure he's dead.
Right, yeah.
Not only is he not dead, he is in the United States.
Right. Yes. Well, and we have established that his character speaks perfect English. So he'd have no problem getting around the United States.
Or, again, I think if you want to prolong it, you have one where he's like he gets some other person down in Colombia, and then that movie ends with him getting on a bus or a plane to America, right. And now you're like, ooh, why is he going to America?
Yeah. Oh, that would be perfect. And you could also do kind of an applause scene where like maybe like ICE tries to capture him because he's an immigrant from South, and he just like slashes and kills them all. And it would be like a controversial thing, like because like a lot of people, would be like, oh, that's awesome. Then people would be like, oh, it's too woke to do that or something. And it would just create this buzz for the movie that it would be like, Trump would be like, I like action movies, but I can't watch that, or something.
He might be like, see, this is exactly why we need ICE.
Exactly.
That's fucking El Corvo coming into the country. Otherwise,
they start using pictures of him in the commercials instead of like the guy with all the tattoos on his face or whatever, right? It's like do you think this guy looks like your neighborhood librarian, right, or somebody who'd hang out with Kurtwood Smith? But no,
he's El Corvo.
El Corvo. Yes. The funny thing about that name Corvo, El Corvo, is my friends and I went and saw the AHL, the minor league hockey all-star game. This was like 15 years or so ago, maybe even longer. But there was a guy named Corvo, and we like picked him as like they were like doing the skills competition. We picked him as our guy, so we were just rooting for Corvo the whole time. We had no idea who he was, but it was like, oh, go Corvo. And so like now when I see his name, Marco Zaror's character's name is Corvo, I was like, I had forgotten that even happened. That was like way in the past. I didn't remember it.
Unlocked a memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Corvo's a good like chanting, like
Yeah.
Corvo, Corvo.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. It's got the 2 syllables.
Yes.
You could spell it on like some of those hockey player names.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, it's good.
That's probably part of what it was that it was easy to pronounce. Like it was just
Right. You
Corvo.
weren't going to have to pronounce some sort of Czechoslovakian name.
Exactly. But I remember, like, yeah, I think one of the skills competition things he had to do was like I think it might have been like a shooting, like hitting different targets on a goal or something like that. And I think we were chanting. We were like Corvo, you know.
Of course.
Yeah. I think we got some other people in our area that were like chanting with us. They were all into it. So I mean, because it's like,
yeah,
what are you
guys
doing?
you guys were the catalysts.
Exactly. It's like, you go to see minor league, like AHL hockey. You don't know it's not like going to like a major league, like going to like the major sports where all the players, and you're like, oh, it's Ohtani, or if it's a hockey, it's like Crosby or whoever. When it's AHL, you don't know who any of them are. So it's like you got to find something. You got to find something to stick with.
Folks, if you want to get Matt a Christmas gift this year, find him a Corvo jersey.
Yes, I think he did make the pros. I'm not sure, but I mean, the idea that I do love the idea too that maybe Espinoza was an AHL hockey fan and he saw the name and was like, I got to name a character after that. So
I might. My boss at work is a huge hockey fan, and he actually collects jerseys, and he has like probably hundreds of these freaking things. Nice. I'm gonna have to remember to say, hey, do you know of a player known as Corvo?
Yes, I'm trying to remember what team he played for. Like it was I mean
the AHL days, perhaps.
Right?
Maybe did he ever? I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I think it was Shane Corvo. I think that was his first name was Shane.
Shane Corvo. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing I remember from that was the San Antonio team had a big bull as their mascot. It was like a bull, it was like a bull's head, but then he had like normal like shorts and everything. And my friend was like walking up the stairs past him, and the mascot started like pantomiming that he was kicking him in the ass as he was walking by. And so we made this whole joke that my friend had this big rivalry with T-Bone was his name, T-Bone the bull, because we thought it was the greatest thing ever. And he was kind of like annoyed. He was like, "Oh, what is T-Bone? Giving me a hard time." We're like, "Yeah, T-Bone's got it in for you, man." No, but yeah, Corvo. I just the jersey thing is funny. I have a bunch of hockey jerseys at my parents' house, like in the basement, like just in a tub. But I had basketball ones too. But the basketball ones, they were in a bin up here. And we needed the bin for our recycling bin outside. So I put them in a trash bag and just kind of left them on the floor. I figured I would do something with them at some point. And our cat decided that he was going to turn them into a bed. So that's what happened with this. Yeah. Yeah. No more jerseys. So the cat bed is what the jerseys are now. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I guess we did make it to the end of Diablo. Any other thoughts, Chris, that you had on Diablo?
I think, as I mentioned, this one just felt bigger than a lot of the other Scott Adkins movies. It had that theatrical feel to it. And to me, it is one of the highest in the rewatchability column for Scott Adkins. And I definitely hope it does get a physical release, because I would gladly add it to my martial arts and Scott Adkins collection.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I was thinking when we mentioned the physical media thing, it seems like Germany always gets a physical release.
Yeah,
so
they sure do. They get that. They get all like the conventions where they just load it up with action stars. Where here you're like lucky if like one random action person might be at it.
Right. It's like Martin Cove shows up to
right.
Yeah. Whereas like over there, like you see Cynthia Rothrock being like, "Hey, everybody, I just flew out to Hamburg."
Yeah, it was like that one had Rothrock, Michael Worth, and Bolo.
Right. Yeah. And then Don the Dragon sometimes shows up. Yeah. If he's not showing up, he reposts her post and says, "Hey, looks like have a great time, Cynthia," or whatever like that. It's like
which I think like here you might get a Chuck Norris, because I'm guessing he doesn't do too much overseas traveling these days, so you might get a Chuck Norris, but that's about it. There's not like I know that's something that when we started Bulletproof Action, one of Chad Cruz's like big visions, like, well, one day we can have a convention, and I'm like, that day still hasn't come, but one day. Because that's like there's not that like action based thing, and it probably would do some kind of. Again, it's
No, it's a
all
great
how you
point.
market it, and you gotta that's a lot of legwork. But
Well, I always talk about part of the reason why my site became more action oriented, even though it wasn't meant to be to start with, was that people that like these kinds of action movies, even like a Diablo, which is a direct to video with maybe a limited release, there isn't a lot of outlet for that. There aren't a lot of people that are talking about, like I know like with your site, you do mainstream action, but also you do the PM entertainment stuff and, the old canon
right,
stuff and everything. And I discovered when I started doing it that not a lot of people were covering those, and the people that were like us, we get a lot of engagement. People would be like, "Hey, did you watch this movie? Did you check that one out?" And suddenly it was like the horror movies. I wasn't covering them as much, and it's like, you do one horror review, and you look in the critic reviews, and it's got like 50 critic
yeah,
reviews, and action movies like Diablo. I don't know what Diablo has now. Maybe it's doing a little bit better, but these movies don't generally have a lot of critic reviews.
right.
Yeah, 28 for this one, which is kind of high for one of these.
I mean, yeah, and that's 28, and it's been out almost all year at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like there was the Big Bad Film Fest. You would think like it would be tied into something like that, where they had affinity, I believe, with the other Zaror movie that came up. I think Prisoner. I think both of them were there, and yeah, there's definitely a market. Somebody will come up with it.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed was on I think it was on Art Camacho or is it Nico Foster on the
With the
Wrecking
record, yeah.
Wrecker. Yeah, I think that screened in New York, something called like the Urban Action Fest or something.
Was it New York or was it in Vegas? It
Oh,
may have been in
maybe.
Vegas because that's where they shot it.
Right. Okay. Because if it was New
But
York, I
yeah,
was like, oh, I missed a chance because New York isn't that far. I could have gotten up there to see that.
right, right. No, so yeah, you'll get those screenings, but yeah, you would think you could piggyback something or make it a part of it where you also had. I guess there is Dragon Fest usually. That's probably the closest thing to some sort of action, but obviously that's more focused on just martial art. And I don't recall like seeing. I mean, I don't know. I think Cynthia Rothrock and Don the Dragon have done that at times, but you're not getting Jean-Claude Van Damme in over there.
Right. Yeah, you don't get names like that at those. Right. They definitely do the Europe circuit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun. I think we talk about like Cleveland would probably be where you are would probably be the best place because it's right in the middle, and so a lot of people could go to that, there.
Yeah, like Cleveland, Detroit, Indianapolis, those are like good. The people could drive in if they needed to, or you could obviously fly in.
Yeah, yeah, they're like I know I've heard people talk about that with Indianapolis that it's like a convention city that it's
Yep.
just made. That's why they have the Super Bowl there, even though it's like freezing cold
Right.
in January. But it's like it's made for that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if it would be that big for us for Indianapolis, or if we'd be more like I don't even know, like a smaller city in Indiana. I don't like Peoria, Illinois, or something like that. Might be more like our for the initial one, right? Would be like a
Mm-hmm.
smaller one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come to Peoria.
right, exactly.
Or yeah, or yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't. Maybe if I ever won like millions and millions of dollars, I would just be like, who cares if it's a money loser? I'm gonna throw on Bulletproof Action Fest
right.
just to say I did it.
What you'd have to do, I think, is if you were going to do it like that, is you'd have to just go to all of those places like Automix and like all those martial
Oh
arts,
yeah,
like because
yeah.
remember, like you watch those martial arts movies in the '90s, and it was just like Automix and all of those other brands that would be like Everlast
The
and all that.
club.
Yes.
Oh no, that was
The club.
I don't think they sell that anymore.
Right. That would be fantastic. It'd be like security brought to you by the club, and it's like, all the hired security that's like at the doors checking, now, are you going to do the speed pass or no? You can't, right?
I've heard bad things about
Yeah,
that,
speed
so
pass.
I don't know. I would have to do a little bit more research on
Yeah.
that.
You don't want any near altercations. You want, you got to make sure. Yeah.
I
So,
want a good, friendly type situation there.
yeah.
Save the fights for the screenings that we do.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe the club might not be, maybe have to be like ADT or something like that. That's like a little bit of a bigger brand that could afford more security. I don't know how many security guards the club would be able to sponsor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would definitely want to have you on there doing a stage show with Cam Diginet, and John could host the LA Heat reunion panel.
Right. With Stephen Williams and Wolf Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kenneth Tigar. Is he still alive?
I think he is.
Or Tigar?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is either, Tigar or Tigar.
He's another one who's got the Marco Zaror haircut.
In real life, right?
Yeah. But good for him and good for them. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chris, as we're wrapping up, anything that you'd like to plug?
Well, I suppose since I'm here, I should plug bulletproofaction.com. We're always doing something over there, folks. So check it out. And of course, the Bulletproof Podcast as well.
Yes, and one thing that's great about the podcast is I subscribe on iTunes, so I get it like the moment it comes out. I get the little. Sometimes it'll give me the message. It'll say, "Oh, hey, new Bulletproof Pod," or sometimes I open up the app and the little square. Do you get that? Like, do you listen on iTunes where you get like the squares shuffling around?
I do not listen on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, sometimes I definitely get when it goes up on YouTube, like on your stuff. If you post something, because I click the notification bell,
Nice.
I'm told when you have a new thing up there. I feel like I had the iHeartRadio app at one point, and every once in a while that thing like still kicks in. I'm like, it's hit or miss, and it'll be like, there's a new Bulletproof podcast, and I'm like, no shit, I'm the one who posted it.
Right, exactly.
But I'm like, but that's good. Hopefully people obviously who aren't me are getting some sort of notification that it's out there.
Yeah, I think
our shows drop pretty much every Tuesday, just like yours. So
yeah, you guys are better because I was late on the one this week, the Missionary Man one. I was like, I realized I got to do some editing on it, and I fell asleep while I was editing. I was like, okay, that was like the first thing I did when I woke up in the morning before I started work was I finished the editing and got it like posted early in the morning. Yeah, you guys are a little bit better. You get it like definitely. I think you're like earlier on Tuesday, and I'm like Tuesday nights.
Yeah, I've been putting it right at midnight. I used to put it at. I'm like, what do I care? Like, I'm just putting it at midnight because that's what the default is usually.
Yeah.
It's like midnight, and I just make sure the date's right, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I've been there many times where I'm like, we've recorded it and that was good. Everything's good. And then it'd be almost like, oh crap, I never edit. Like I think I have like a staff or something.
Right. Exactly.
Like this went down to the editing department. Like, okay, we got it all down. My engineer takes care. No, there's nothing like that.
No, it was funny. I put the podcast on Podchaser. I guess it was already on Podchaser, but I claimed it or whatever. And it was like asking like, well, who are the people that do different things? And I'm like, well, okay, I'm the producer. I'm the host. I'm the editor. Like, right. Like, it's like all right. They're all me. It's like, I don't have a team. And I guess the other thing too, is I don't know what I would pay somebody to do. Cause even with the editing, it's like, I'm usually just on Audacity, just like,
Yeah.
So it's not like I'd be paying somebody to do it, but by the same token, it is like, it's you essentially you record it and then you've got to listen to it almost for the entire time. So you go through it a second time, which it's good. I probably should do it more often because sometimes like there's episodes where there's no discernible edits that I need to make with it at all. So I don't even listen to it. And then I'll listen to it after it's up and I'll be like, oh, I mentioned that I was going to put a link to something in the podcast description that I didn't do. So I probably, there's like things that I mentioned there.
When I first did it, I was like cutting out ums and uhs and little, like, oh, that's a little bit too much space.
Yeah.
And we would record for 45 minutes. to an hour.
Yeah.
And I would spend 3 hours editing the thing. And I'm like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore.
Right? No, because
unless it's something like where somebody lost connection or somebody just said something so bad.
Right.
Which that hasn't, but just like, what the hell are we
Yes. Yeah, no, that's what it is, right? It's like that if it's something that's like just doesn't fit, or like you said, that the connection drops. Because the one thing about the space that is interesting is that sometimes that space makes people think their internet dropped. And so it's like, yeah, it's like you don't want it to be too much because the people are going to start checking their Wi-Fi and everything like that. So there's that point where it's like, okay, this is enough space where people are going to stay engaged and not think that they've got to like reset their phone or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I went overboard like for the first maybe month or two, and I'm just like, this is taking way too. That's why it was like an every other week thing too, because it's like record, take a week to edit, and then just do it again. And I'm like, I've got to come up with a better. And there's so many now just go live. It's like, well, you know what? If we were live, what you see is what you get, basically. So it's like,
Yeah, it's like it's live, but it's not live, I guess, right? It's like it's live, but you can still cut things out after.
Live to tape, just go with it. And,
exactly. Yeah, it's how the sausage is made, folks, as you're hearing it, Yeah, or how the cheesesteak is made, I guess, or meatballs, right? How the meatballs,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Get me 2, Utah.
Exactly.
I'll take 2.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I've got to watch Point Break again at some point. That's just always that's another rewatchable, I guess. Yeah. Diablo is in this sort of this category of rewatchables, I guess.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Will this podcast be re-listenable though? That's that's the real story.
Yes, exactly. You know, it's funny. Sometimes I don't know how that works either. Like, because sometimes I think I do get like credit if somebody starts a podcast and stops it and then picks it back up. I think I get two download or 2 streams for that, but I'm not sure exactly how any of it works. I just know that there's numbers and they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
I try to screw with your numbers as much as I can. Just start going on a thumbs up spree on your YouTube, and you'll be like, wow, on November 3rd or 4th or 5th, wow, why did this happen? And then no likes for 3 months after that. I don't understand.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, it's like when I put out my first book, and I went into Amazon and saw that I sold 15 copies. I was like, that's fantastic. And then I was like, wait a second. And I texted my mom. I was like, Mom, did you buy 15 copies of my book? She's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's still sales, but it's,
Right.
Yeah.
Just fooling yourself.
Exactly. Well, Chris, thank you again for coming on. This was a ton of fun.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love being the guest and not the host because I don't have to do much except be a smartass, and pretty decent at that, I guess. I've had a lot of experience.
Yes. No, I was going to say, from being a guest on your podcast where you've got to facilitate with 4 different people or 3 or 4 different people, I can understand how this is more of a relaxing situation.
You got to volley that. You got to do it around. Yeah. Throw it to try to help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's no facilitation needed here. You could just come on and do what you got, just like you said, just be a wise ass, which is exactly what we need. Perfect. Well,
I'm always here for it whenever you need me.
Yes, exactly. We'll definitely have you on again in the near future. So yeah, they will definitely. We'll think of something else there for sure. But yeah, thank you for coming on, and thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye, everyone.
Director,